long, and then they feel they have to catch the next function because you haven't yet taken your seats. And as delegates, don't forget to, there is a platform here for taking pictures. Don't go away without taking a picture. Photos are very, very important. You might need to pass that on to your next of kin as an inheritance.
My only one. Leveges anan kusain. Senze jokiro bola mubange. Sagalwanga nyo mubaganda bange. Neri nyali mambidanga. Olwengula yange. Noli muntu ngasirwana. Noli muntu ngasiyomba. Nayese no yansobera. Iwe mikwane jo jantawa. Nayese na mwekwata. Iranze na mwefunza. Erinyelo lyatuka, Yesu yo nyeratuza. Nandi bandiwa, singate wanja. Nandi bandiwani, singate wanja. Banage nandi gense wani, singate yaja. Weba lokuja, biji byatuka. Weba lokuja, biji byatuka. Come on, real skinny, loud colored tinnies, body marked up like graffiti. I don't push a Maserati, Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. And yeah, I wrote a foreign, and Nissan looking spiffy. Hey, go ahead and doubt us, but what you know about us? And we ain't gotta follow, then we take another route. No, we ain't blowing trees, bro. Open up my window. I see you popping tags, but you know that's why your end's low. I tried to tell them we was coming, gone, let us in. Why they hating like we all a bunch of hooligans? No gimmicks, spirit in my lyrics. Know when people hear it, they gon' love it, they gon' fear it. And it ain't how we flow, cause when we show up at our show, they say we going so hard in the paint, they can't wait for some more. But some others say we preachy, some closed-minded geechies, like we ain't heard of Marx like a Nietzsche. Believe me. They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they think we dumb, diddy dumb. But they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us. Hey, they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us. Oh, they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us. Oh, they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us. 622 plus, gon' add it up. Hey, that's a big problem. Call it calculus. Math don't subtract, but content like I had enough. Long hair, don't care, some more, and plus I'm tatted up. I know this blow your mind, and I ain't blowing pine. Not talking women looking skimpy every other line. Yeah, I got a dime, I'm about to make a mine. Life in Christ got me finished like across the line. With the way that you telling me to do it, sell out to sell out. Nah, man, it's so foolish. Done trying to beat you, it don't fit, misfit. I don't trip, everybody hate Chris. They saying get with this, just like a membership. They talking slick that this is it, but it's just gibberish. I say I'm interested, they say you different. Oh, you gon' know even if you don't let us in. They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know energy feel me. I feel the love. I know they gon' know me. It's from above. I'm overflowing. I feel the good. It's something on me strongly. If you feel me, everybody throw your hands up and say, His blessings on me. I feel the grace. I don't deserve it. It's just his pace. I'm aerial surfing, gone with the wind. His hand is on me, if you agree. Can't explain it simply. Go ahead and throw your hands up. I woke up this morning to get it in. No, I'm not playing. This is my trend. No, I'm not perfect.
I wanna get it right. So I encourage my own self. Turn left, focus on my own shelf. Reach for the top, don't stop. Hands. Yeah. I feel good. I'm so grateful. I feel good. I'm so thankful. I feel good. Man, I'm so blessed. I feel good. Hands up. Hands.
Limo blazing, yo, yo, yo. Oh yeah, I'm blessed. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah. Boy, I'm up and I'm yawning, yeah. I thank God for another day, and I ain't got worries, yeah. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah. Yeah, I'm up and I'm yawning, yeah. I thank God for another day, and I ain't got worries, boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I never had a Bentley or a Lambo. I never had a PJ in my name, though. I never had a Hot 100 single. I've gone a few days, I could barely afford a meal, though. I know that they don't mean that I ain't blessed if I'm rocking a designer. And when I'm counting all my blessings, I never stop with the things the money can't buy. Cause I'm on me, I know how it hold me. Blessing weight on giving only son to save me. Share no money with my daddy, no forgive me. If I want ball, I go up, I say it will be. West side, west side. A heart of gratitude is my best side. Best side, west side. Knees to the floor, that's my best side. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah. Boy, I'm up and I'm yawning, yeah. I thank God for another day, and I ain't got worries, yeah. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah. Yeah, I'm up and I'm yawning, yeah. I thank God for another day, and I ain't got worries, boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I'm blessed. What you mean? I got breath in my lungs, don't you see? Boy, I'm blessed. One time for my family, one time for my real friends, grateful for true love. One time for my baby, my woman, my everything. I can't wait to put a ring on it. What you walking down the aisle looking stunning. I'm counting you twice in my blessings. Can't think of my world without you in it, in it. Oh no, no, no. I don't even think of money to say I'm blessed. Oh no, no, no. Boy, I'm a child of God, so how can I not be blessed? West side, west side. A heart of gratitude is my best side. Best side, west side. Knees to the floor is my best side. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah. Boy, I'm up and I'm yawning, yeah. I thank God for another day, and I ain't got worries, yeah. It's 5 o'clock.
DJ, thank you very much. You're doing such a wonderful job. I'm enjoying your music so much. I am restraining myself not to start my bones are still very flexible. I can do some, but not for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I once again want to welcome you to this occasion. And like I have said before, I want to invite you to come and take up your seats. If you haven't got a t-shirt, there is a room inside that house. As soon as you enter that door, you turn on your right and then on your left. You'll find a very hospitable, beautiful lady there. She will usher you and take your measurement and give you a fitting shirt. Some of us are blessed. So if now what am I going to say? Why are you laughing? Yes, but she will take care of you, and then you, so that we brand ourselves all, so that we all look. And I will ask if it doesn't hurt for those that have donned on their blazers or coats. You can hang it behind your seat so that we all look uniform. Those that don't have a t-shirt, kindly find yourself in there. The lady will give you a fitting t-shirt, and then you come and join the congregation. Today, like I said, is a unique day. But it is not in my place to really unveil the whole content of what today is about. But as a matter of fact, the entire country is here from all regions. And I will be requesting my colleague, who has been in the midst of this mobilization, to come and do the honors of introducing the delegates from the different regions. If they call your region, hey, don't be shy about it. If you can greet in your language, that would be the best, if you have a chance to. Asuman Odaka is one of our abavuganye ekintu kyo jakusaba. Tafadhali usimame and you come in youth gym and it here. How many languages have I spoken? So don't go below the bar. Add another language to that one and speak more languages. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Our dear delegates from all the sub-regions, Uganda, and the members of the press. You will allow me to remove this so that I am audible enough. Like said, my name is Odaka Asuman. I come from Bukedi, and the headquarters of Bukedi, which is Tororo, and the headquarters of Tororo, which is Tororo municipality. So I am only a man of headquarters. I want to welcome you, but also first thank you for honoring this invitation by NEED. NEED in full is National Economic Empowerment Dialogue. We think that this country needs dialogue to move forward. This country needs empowerment of the citizen, and economic empowerment is at the center of all this. And it should be national in character. So each letter in that consists, or that is in this, has a meaning, or you can write home a lot more things. We know you, the media, are writers, so you'll write a lot. You'll write home quite a lot out of this. This country is historically divided into 15 sub-regions, and let me count them. You have Acholi, you have Lango, we have West Nile, we have Ankole, we have Kigezi, we have Toro, we have Bunyoro, we have Rwenzori, we have Buganda, we have Busoga, we have Bukedi, Bugisu, Sebei, and Karamoji. And those are the sub-regions that make this nation called Uganda, or this country called Uganda. We have not yet graduated to a nation. We are not a nation. And all political scientists will agree to that. Now, we in need recognize the fact that we must recognize these sub-regions in order to become a nation. Those are matters that we shall dialogue on later on. But today we have invited you here, or we have converged here to launch this process. The process that is summarized in those 5 letters. The process that we think all of us can be part of. The process that we think can graduate this country into a nation. The process that can begin a real conversation about this country, about the citizen of this country. So that is why we are here. The persons we have invited two persons from every sub-region of this country. We are going to, they are now what we call the National Steering Committee. Now, the National Steering Committee will eventually now drive to the end process that you will be communicated to later on, either today or even in the near future. But for today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for honoring this. I know, let me recognize sub-region by sub-region. I want to thank the members from Sebei sub-region. And I ask them to stand up and wave to the... Those are members from Sebei. You can, I know we are, the hall is quite small, and Sebei people, since you are from the mountain, you speak loudly, we can hear you. Kindly just mention your name. That's Mr. Mwanga Jackson from Sebei. Yeko Chemonges. I was about to ask, when you talk about Sebei, Samuche must be there. He's Chemonges. I want to recognize members from Bukedi.
Excuse me, we need that record. Can I just have you speak your names once again? I'm sorry. So that you, okay, let's start with you.
Thank you. For purpose of capturing data, I'm Oshuo Godfrey Etiang from Bukedi. I also happen to be a leader who stood in Toro County, North. So you are all welcome.
Thank you. Can we go to Kigezi? Kigezi? Oh, yeah. Okay.
So once more, I'm Mwanga Jackson from Sebei. We are together, we shall be communicating.
Once more again, I'm Yeko C. Robert from Kwen District.
I think let the thing just move now. Oh, no.
Thank you. I am called Ali Babi. I am from Bunyoro region. My pet name is Amoti. Amoti means the inner beauty of somebody. And I'm glad to meet you guys. I'm a former aspirant of Hoima City mayoral race. I am an activist. I am a reformist. I am a resistant to poor governance.
My name is Bahati Moses from Kigezi, the hills, and the Switzerland of Africa. Thank you. Because there is a need, that's why I'm here.
I'm called Jones Precious from Kigezi. You're all welcome.
I'm Kayua Haruna from Gomba, particularly Gomba East, where I had wanted to make some need come up. Thank you very much so far.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Isaac Ojokanok. I'm from Lang sub-region. Politically, I'm very active. I aspired to be the Ugandan representative in the East African Legislative Assembly in 2017, and I'm still carrying the flag. Professionally, I'm an economist. I'm a doctorate student at Makerere University. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm called Amsa Opio from Lango sub-region. I'm a revolutionary who needs change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lang.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Baguma Frank, one of the mobilizers in the former elections in Kampala and also Makindye division. Thank you very much for coming.
Good morning. My name is Dorothy. I'm from this sub-region, Central.
Good morning. By names of Mulunga Chrysostom. The addicted person to anything that benefits Uganda in a right way, and a move of God is of great things. So I am honored and blessed to have been here, to be here. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Eric Emorut from Sorote.
Yes, good morning. I'm Okoroma Sanasius from Teso Sub-Region.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nambale Derek Chano from Bugisu Sub-Region.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Andrew Miat. I am from the flat plains of eastern Uganda, that is Teso area. I contested 3 times for Member of Parliament, but the votes were not enough. I haven't given up. I'm still aspiring. Thank you.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome so much. Robert Omongin Odeke from Busia, and that's Bukedi sub-region, and I contested in Samia Bugwe North constituency as a member of parliament, and votes were not enough to take me to parliament, but I'm still on the race. Thank you very much.
Yes, good morning, comrades. I am Hassan Bresa from the Central Region of Uganda, attached to the Justice Forum, JEMA, where I double as the Secretary for the Electoral Commission of the Saidi Party. You're most welcome, all of you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Honorable Babide Sarah Naigaga, an aspirant woman MP who was already there, actually since 2018, who doubles also as a secretary, tertiary institutions from Justice Forum. Thanks for coming.
Mr. MC, there are a few, I think there is one sub-region more, but they are coming in. So I want to thank you very much for coming. Mr. MC, thank you for the opportunity you've accorded me.
You're welcome. You've done fairly well. I spoke about 4 languages. You've done 3. That is a pass. Well done. So as you can see, the congregation here is not of, these are people with addresses, people with the caliber. You're most welcome. I said before some of you had arrived, and I want to reiterate, that before you there's a notebook with inscriptions: National Economical Empowerment Dialogue. If you're old enough, you know that is the Chinyusi, the economics. It doesn't matter how, and the ladies will bear me witness, it doesn't matter how cute the guy looks. Even if he looks cuter than me, or he almost looks like me. While it will get staring sanyuf. Taina waka. Shtegera. Now, today is a congregation of you noble ladies and gentlemen, and I have just been asked to ask you to graduate from where you are and occupy these front seats. Kindly don't disappoint me now that you have had. If you are there, please graduate to the next. And this is how things start, by the way. Before you know it, you are coming from that one to another level. So let us occupy these chairs. Please, let's do that quick. And so that those that are coming can occupy these other remaining seats this way. Yes. That's it. Come in. Very come. Who are you? Jumukana, Judikwana. Aha. Very beautiful. Obsebe. Brungon. Isn't that how they say sit down here? Yes. Aha. Very nice. Kakati boti teri balanced bulungi. Yewundise kati eno waliyo abasingako ate abeeno. Kati lwaki mwabali mu eyo emmeeza temusembedde wano oba mwabali awo mudde wano? N'abali eyo bannaye mujje mutuule. Come and occupy a seat. Kino ekintu kyaffe. Don't. Very nice. Mukuje mke hapa we start off. Beautiful. So, once again, you're most welcome. We are here to launch, like the previous speaker said. But like I told you earlier, and I want to repeat again, that let those inscriptions on those booklets, on those notebooks, begin to have a conversation from within you. Jebuja, this thing is going to spread, and you're going to be the wings on whom this information will fly to your different places of origin and interaction. Okay, so at this material time, ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor and privilege to invite the person, the face, the head, the epitome of need, none other than Raisi Joseph Kabuleta. Sir, you're most welcome. In your midst, sir, are delegates, people from Bunyoro, Acholi, Lango region is here, Teso is here, Bukedi, Sebei, Buganda, Busoga. Yes, mama webale kuida tusangaire kubona. The whole country is here, and we have just given a sneak preview of what has gathered us here. But you know that when God blesses you like He has blessed you, to be able to see the future, He now bestows upon you the responsibility and duty to enlighten us on this matter, and of course to unpack what need is to us. Sir, you're most welcome. We are attentively waiting to hear from you. Thank you very much. I have just been guided, my apologies, for two important items that we need to do just before your speech. Now that you're here, we begin with an opening prayer. Yes, and I want a very spirited person. I know you are a man of God without a doubt, but there are people here. Somebody is looking at me suspiciously like he wants to pray in Ateso. Who am I to say no? You pray for us. Bless this day and the goodness of the Lord in Ateso.
Okay, let's humble ourselves and pray. Deke papa la pedor kere. Kote sa esi alamiki ni jo anapakana. Topolori sekon kiror. Ilepiso jo. Aisingangere so. Utomasom sine nuitege arti so kopana. Kirora Yesu Christe kosjakait.
Hey, Alamanoi. And then the anthem. Do you have the... No. Okay. This being all Ugandans of noble character, where does the national anthem come from? Tororo. Okay.
O Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hands. United, free for liberty, together we always stand.
I will forgive you for the other stanzas because we don't want to cause problems. Sir, you're most welcome to address the congregation. We are attentively waiting to hear from you, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Opata, actually, the second stanza has to be sung when the head of state is around, so maybe we should have sung it since I'm here. And the third stanza is only supposed to be played on Independence Day. Only, just for protocol reasons. I can see Mr. Odeke didn't know that.
Thank you for empowering us.
So today, thank you so much for coming. And I just want to inform everybody here that the people we've designated from different regions of the country are not just people who stay in Kampala but originate from there. They are actually people from there who traveled from those places to come here. So we are not doing something within Kampala and picking up a Musoga and saying you represent Musoga. No, no, no. And picking up somebody from Bukedi and say, no, these are people who come from there. And most of them actually are people of influence in their designated regions, although right now they might not hold any public office. And that's because of the mode that we chose to deal with. And I also have to say that a lot of them are people of different political parties and affiliations, and nobody is requesting them to leave their parties. No, we are not. Actually, we much prefer they stay there. But what we are doing today is giving them an ideological orientation, something that we've thought about, and something that people can gather around and rally around in form of ideology. So today, we are here to tell you that this is how we selected the people we got from different regions. I told you they do not currently hold public office, although they have a lot of influence. So realize that the way our politics is run is all or nothing. If somebody stands for office, our presumption is that that person has ideas and has support on the ground. And basically, nobody runs for office unless they have a desire to serve their community and do something positive for the community. But of course, just as elections always are, some people lose. So we said that rather than losing out those ideas of people who apparently lost, we can harness them into a movement where we actually push a political ideology. Because what happens is, for most of the constituencies, the winner gets anything between 30 and 35%. That means 65 to 70% of the people feel disenfranchised, of the electorate feel disenfranchised because their candidate was not the winning candidate. And you know the way our politics is, there are no silver medals and bronze medals. So if you don't get gold, you go home with nothing. But then we think that those people who would be silver medalists or bronze medalists actually have ideas to offer. And so we are gathering them here today from different regions. We could have had many more people. But for purposes of logistics and all that, we decided let's just have 2 people from every region. And I'm glad that every single one of those regions is represented here today. Every one of the 17 regions. Now, of course, we divided the old 15 regions as they told you before, but we decided because of the sheer size and the population of Buganda to split it into 3, which is North Buganda, which is the Luwero side, West Buganda, which is the Masaka side and Rakai, and the Kampala Extra, which includes Wakiso and Mukono and so on, what we would call Kampala Extra. So that's how we divided the country into 17 regions, and all of them, as I said, are here represented. But today we are here because I know that our politics has been guided so much by personalities. And we want to move away from personalities and move into ideology. That is our purpose. So what is the one ideology that we selected? We sat as a group and selected one thing that is urgent to this country, and that is the idea of economic empowerment. Because the one thing that has been taken away from our people is their financial dignity. They have been stripped, they have been turned into beggars, they have been turned into everything, you know, government help us, government help us. Yet in actual sense, many of these people have the abilities to go and do something for themselves if they were just given a little support. But then it's important to know that the people who have held us captive for more than 3.5 decades have the means to control the wealth of this country. But they do not have the means to control our conversation. And there is no meaningful change that comes unless we change what we are talking about. And I've told the people here these days that whoever rules the narrative actually owns the whole thing. So apart from actually controlling wealth, they have to keep the public fed with a certain narrative of, you know, giving them talking points, and then you talk about things, and it's a major, major thing in this country. Even for all TVs I go to and so on, they are making you discuss very insignificant things while all the resources of the country are being taken. So sometimes I just go there for just to show face and so on, but I don't like the discussions. Then they are telling you, tell us what, you know, what do you say about what this person said? I said, I don't want to say what every single war in the world right now is about one thing and one thing called resources. And everything you hear, people who are being cut with Bijambi and what, let me tell you, it's about resources. One thing only, resources. So we have to start talking about the elephant in the room, which is resources, the resources of this country. Why do some people believe that they have almost a divine right to own every wealth in this country, while they treat the rest of the people as squatters in our own country? Now, we might not be able to change the politics unless we actually start changing the conversation. Now, I'm tasking these people here from all their regions to go to their regions, and we as a team will be visiting all these 17 regions one after the other to get people to talk about, do you know what is in this land of yours? You are from Bukedi. Do you know how many minerals are here? Do you know what you can do for yourselves from this region? Do you know how much wealth is deposited in this place? Or are you just talking about things which somebody is stealing your wealth and giving you talking points which have no bearing on improving your lifestyle? So we want to task all these people to go and change the conversation in their place and create an ideology that is going to guide the next political dispensation. Because I've seen all the organizations of people trying to guide the next political dispensation, and all of them are built around one thing and one thing only: personalities. None about ideology. And we have to move away from that. Because if we stay on the issue of personalities, there is no guarantee that we will not replace Museveni with another Museveni, unless the electorate is actually enlightened about what it is they are fighting for. We do not want an electorate to fight for anybody. We want them to fight for themselves. We are telling them that when you stand up to fight with us, the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue, you're fighting for yourself, not for any personality. So the wealth in Acholi is not for Kabuleta or anybody here. It's for the people of Acholi. Now go and tell them that you have a lot of fertile land here. There is no place which has more fertile land, but it is being taken by somebody who is making you line outside Acholi in to give you handouts, as he's taking everything that belongs to you. So are we going to continue doing like that, or are we actually going to start talking? For the beginning, talking. Because nobody can stop you from talking. Okay? So when you actually change the conversation, you change the whole dynamic of the politics. Because now, when somebody has been enlightened through speech, because unknown that I am sitting here, there are this number of gold wells here, there are this gold mines here, there are all these things, and actually, as somebody who is born in this region, I should be a partaker of some of these things. Now, when that understanding gets into their head, they actually know that when they lift their hands to fight, they are fighting for themselves, not for anybody. Because we want, first and foremost, to recognize these different regions in their distinctness. Okay? While Uganda is a nation, generally, and that's powerful, all of these people have people who are in, all of these regions have people who are indigenous to them, who have specific customs, specific cultures, and norms which they want to retain. Okay? They want to retain their individuality while being part of a bigger group called Uganda. So they want to retain who they are as individuals. They want to retain their customs and their culture, but they want to be part of this group. So now we acknowledge that all these people have a right to retain their individuality. And we believe in them being unity in diversity. So the diversity is good for us, and we know that when somebody says, I'm from this region, we respect that. We respect that that region actually has things which are unique to that region. And we want that person to feel that he has every right to be identified with his custom, even if he's part of a greater entity called Uganda. So, and now, those customs are based on, everything is based on the principle of land. And I want to tell you people that there is no resource that is being depleted right now like land. Because everything else can be done afresh. Sometime we didn't know we have oil, but now we know we have oil. There are minerals we didn't know we had, but now we know we have them. But the land of Uganda has not changed since, I think, 1921 when they formed the entire state, and is not going to change. And land is the one resource that you cannot add or subtract from. Because when God made the land, he made it there. He's not going to come and make more land. So we have people of these people, you have to go and educate your people about retaining their resources. Because you cannot have any meaningful political discourse with somebody who doesn't have money to buy food. And we know that the people who have held us captive have worked so hard to make sure that the electorate is very poor and destitute, and therefore have no ability to involve themselves in any meaningful discussion about political change. We know that for a fact. So as long as you're looking for basic needs, the grand ideas of political change and involving yourself in politics are too distant from you because you're just looking for the next meal for you and your children. So now we have to wrestle to get back what belongs to this nation. Now, even if this is a different group, I'll tell you that when I stood for president, I was telling people to reclaim our country. And the truth is our country has been taken away from us right before our eyes. And there are people who think they are total owners of the country. And it has been taken away everything. So we have to tell the people that now politics of personality has come to an end. We are going to politics of dialogue. When we try to fight, fight for yourself, for you, not for anybody. For yourself. You're the one, all of us need salvation in our own ways to get our resources, which have been taken. Because there is not a single, because of course there's not a single region in this country. And I can't think of any other country that is like this, which does not have resources unique to that region. There is none of the 17. Even Buganda, which is divided in 3. All those regions have unique things in form of minerals, in form of what? All those places have unique wealth. But do the people know about that wealth? They cannot fight for it unless they know it's there. So now it's going to be our responsibility, we as members of the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue, to tell the people of step away from Gomba. To tell the people of Gomba that, do you know what wealth there is in this place? Do they know? So you are supposed to tell them. Now when they know, then they will want to fight for it. Because suddenly they realize, why am I poor when I'm sitting on what? You know, there was somebody who comes from those oil wells in Budisa, in Bunyoro. And he was joking that for us, even when you dig a latrine, you reach oil. So you're saying for us, even when you go to the toilet to do that stuff, your stuff foils on, on oil, on mud. So the thing is, but now you see, the purpose of the people who have taken us captive is to make you, I remember, okay, I really don't want to talk about it, but some leader, some, bushman, they are, that guy came and told them, the people who were sitting on the oil wells, that for you, the way you are going to benefit from oils, from this oil, is you plant mangoes and pineapples, which the people who come to mine oil will eat. Can you imagine? So, and then the interesting thing is the people who bought it more than all the rest are the people who are educated in ties. So some guy came and said, me, I've already planted mangoes. I looked at him and said, how stupid can you be? Somebody is taking your oil right now, and for you are planting mangoes. When will you harvest the first mango? How long does it take for a mango tree to grow? And the man is actually serious. So somebody, imagine you're sitting on oil wells, and you're indigenous to your area, and you are supposed to have something. But somebody comes and says, you plant mangoes. And that's how you're going to benefit. And then actually, I was shocked to see people going and say, yeah, we start planting mangoes. I said, we really have a big duty as people in politics to educate our people. That you can't be diverted like that. So simply. So you plant nanas, pineapples. And then he's not even telling them to plant fruits which come out immediately. He's telling them to plant fruits which are going to come out after so many years. And then they are content to do that. In the meantime, the oil is being siphoned out. Okay? Not officially. But it is being siphoned out and taken and sold crude. Yes, I absolutely know that. You see, when I first wrote it, and they say, are you sure? I say, I'm sure, I know it is being siphoned out and taken out. But you see, the way this world operates, you cannot hide anything. So we went and checked world crude oil exporters, and Uganda is one of them. It's in the top 100 of world crude oil exporters. Go and check worldexports.com. The last I checked were number 91 on crude oil export. But yet officially the oil hasn't been taken. But we see trucks passing there every day. Every day. You ask these people from Bunyoro. Isn't it same? You see trucks passing there every day. But officially we haven't started. But then on the world websites, because you can't sell anything in the world these days, in these days of internet and so on, and it's not seen. You can lie people who have chosen to be lied to. But with this internet and Google and what you can't sell anything on the world market and it does not reflect anywhere. So anyway, my point is, why must people plant mangoes when somebody is selling crude oil at a huge amount of money? So now, do those people in those places know what are their rights? And now let me finish by actually saying this, and then maybe I'll go and take some questions from the media. What the people who have held us captive have done is, if they find uranium in Bukedi, as they did, and gold, now what they do is they'll get people from Bukedi, instead of giving the people, at least if they give the jobs to the people from that area, they will not. They will take the people from Bukedi to go and work in the oil fields in Bunyoro, where they know these people cannot stake any claim on this. Then they will take those from Bunyoro to go and work in Bukedi. Because you cannot start saying, this is our gold, are you from here? Now when somebody from Bukedi goes to Budisa, he cannot say, this is our oil, are you from here? So they keep on shifting people, taking them different places. So there are Choris whose land they are taking, they take them to work somewhere else. Okay? And then there are people from that other place, they take them to work in Acholi. That is part of a system to make people not have a sense of being indigenous to that place. Indigenous is what I meant to say, to that place, and having a sense of ownership. Because when you're from there, you say, no, this is our thing. And you have every right to stake a claim on that thing until somebody puts you to a totally different part of the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to launch the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue. We are not stopping in Kampala. This is not a Kampala movement. We are going across the country. In the next so many months, I am going with our group here from region to make sure that people understand the wealth that is in that region and start talking about it. First understand what there is, start talking about it, and change the conversation, and don't let and so that the people do not let anyone divert them to talk about senseless things as they are taking their wealth. And it is so easy to divert Ugandans. It is so amazing how easy it is to divert them. You throw them something, and then they jump and attack, then talk about one thing which is totally useless for 2 weeks. And it's actually very, from where I look at it, it's almost like, you know, me telling my children, throwing a ball and say, go and play. Your mother and I want to make for you brothers and sisters. And then you send them away because you want to do, you know, adult stuff. So that's how these people have treated Ugandans. They give you something very small, then you discuss. Then you go to places and people are asking questions. But now the interesting thing is this. During my campaigns, I went up country. I have not seen people actually who are more enlightened politically, politically, you understand? Eh? Like people up country. That's where you get real questions. Real questions. Like, how come this is not working? They said they are going to do for us a fruit factory. It is not working. In Kampala, where you expect people to be enlightened, they are so diverted by so many things, memes, what, and all those things. So you put something in a meme, and suddenly everybody is talking about a meme. Then somebody releases nudes. Then another person is found committing adultery. Then and now it's very easy to divert. Now the people up country are not easily diverted like that. They actually have a sense of purpose. They are powerless, and actually they have not had politicians who address those problems. But if they had people who could actually seriously address those problems, the people up country are ready for economic empowerment. At least in their minds they are. It's only in Kampala where people are diverted by very petty things. Very, very petty things. Somebody's news leaked, somebody did what, somebody, you know. And then they talk about that, then it takes social media for 2 weeks. Yeah, as crude oil is going, as gold is being taken, you know, as what? You're talking about nudes. So this is why we are launching the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue, as I end, to make sure that we as a people talk about the things that matter. And there is nothing that matters like resources. There is absolutely no war in the country right now which takes place without resources being the cardinal reason for it. You know, previously, world wars were fought over a woman. Somebody goes with somebody's woman and then a war starts. How can you go with my woman? What? Then a kingdom attacks another because of a woman. But now there is nobody fighting over a woman. Or even over ego. They fight for one thing, resources. Every time you see a war, it is about resources. But in Uganda, we are the only people who actually don't talk about resources. We talk about everything else but resources. Yet the whole world, people are fighting about resources. Resources. So, when shall we start talking about the things that matter? The answer is now. And we are tasking all of you people from different regions of the country to actually go and start these conversations in the places that you are indigenous to. And we shall come and foment it. And we want, regardless of what the next political dispensation looks like, we want the issue of economic empowerment to be at the heart of everybody. Because I have never seen a people who have been stripped of all their dignity. And somebody who is stripped financially has nothing left to offer. You'd rather strip somebody naked. But when they have money, haven't you seen them? Rich people who have money walking naked. And people actually cheer them because they have money. But if they strip you financially, you have nothing. Eh? If they had stripped your clothes when you don't have money, they will chase you like a madman. So we have to make sure that we are not stripped financially. And the truth is, there is a lot we can do about it. You know, there is a sense of hopelessness among Ugandans. Yeah, what will we do? They have guns, they have what? No, they don't have our mouths. And that's a very powerful weapon. Very, very powerful weapon. Everything starts with a conversation. People talking about it. People talking about it. That's how every change starts. Every change. Fidel Castro caused a change in Cuba by just starting talking to people, talking to people, talking to people. All those things. Powerful movement, civil rights movement. Somebody comes on the street and starts talking about black empowerment. Malcolm X, just talking. But then the people first say, let him talk, he's just talking. Then after some time they realize he's not just talking. He's changing people's minds. And then after some time they start fighting. The people who have power start fighting him because talk is not cheap. Talk has never been cheap. It changes people's minds, changes people's ideology, and makes people actually want to fight for something. Because somebody has accepted his place as a slave. For us, we are not supposed to vote. You know, we are blacks. Elections come, it's only, you know, white people who vote. Until somebody comes out and starts talking. He doesn't have a gun, he doesn't have anything. He just starts talking. Then people say, but why shouldn't we vote? Don't those policies which come affect us? Then suddenly there is a movement, then suddenly they also included on. So talk is not cheap. Don't you deceive yourself that talk is cheap. It's not. That's why when I tell you we are starting a conversation, you say, yeah. We'll start it. And we'll see with those who are starting things that have no ideology, we'll see who comes out on top. But for us, we are starting talking. Okay? Thank you very much. Because there is a need.
May I now ask you to make that pronouncement? I therefore declare this launched.
Because there is a need. Isn't there a need?
Yes, there is a need.
So today I launch the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue. Open. And we shall not stop talking until we have met that need.
Yes.
Until the whole country understands that they have a right to the resources of this country. They cannot be treated as squatters in their own country. We have to make the whole country realize that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So I'll take some questions from the press, and then we let them go. If there are any.
Maybe you'll come
okay,
down,
I'll come down
come down to the that point there. Meanwhile, the delegates, the conversation has been started, and we are going to. You want to ask a question? Let him finish with the press, and then we.
So I give him this. Give him that.
Bring the podium. They put on the microphone. Just get one of these tables. Okay. Now, any questions? Yes. can ask in Uganda, English. I will answer in the language you ask.
I'll ask in English. Mr. Kabuleta, you've been a presidential candidate, and the backbone of your message was economic empowerment. Here you come with national economic empowerment dialogue. Do we call this a political movement that you're coming up with?
Yes, it is a political movement, but it is not a political party. But because we're having people from all sorts of parties, but it is a political movement, and we are convinced that we want this movement to touch the whole country. And like I said, regardless of what direction the next political dispensation takes, we want it to be about financial liberation, because that's the pressing need for every Ugandan at the moment. There is nobody who can say there is no need for that. So that's one thing that unites all of us. So we'd want it to be about economic empowerment. Yes?
Can you tell us more about the people you have gotten on board so far and the process of how you've reached out to them? Have you talked directly to, for instance, political parties at the leadership level? And speaking of political parties, have you also considered reaching out to fellow presidential candidates as you are using the election?
May I request that you introduce yourself and
Okay.
your media house?
Okay. No, we haven't spoken to political parties, but we are only just launching. Okay, this baby is just being given birth to, so we don't know what our next steps will involve. But we're open to all dialogue. The thing is about dialogue. You see, the most important thing here is dialogue, and dialogue that actually is dialogue. Okay, because the other platforms for dialogue, which are actually just one person imposing themselves and their opinions on others, but this is real dialogue. And now we want the dialogue to be built around an ideology. So, but as in regard to people who are affiliated to parties who are joining us, they are joining us of their volition. So we do not know whether they asked permission from their parties. That is none of our business. Okay? But actually none of them is representing. The reason we do not go for people who are currently in political office is, as I told you, that those represent a small fraction of the electorate, but also to avoid issues like that. Okay? So everybody who is here is affiliated, may or may not be affiliated to a party, but if they are affiliated to a party, they are here of their own volition. And we are not asking them to leave any party to join the conversation. This is a conversation, okay, a political movement. So we do not buy anybody from any party. I know Mr. Odeke here is a UPC man, but nobody is asking him to leave UPC. He has been there from the 1980s, so we can't ask him to leave. But he's a very key part of this national economic empowerment dialogue. Yes?
My name is Chantal from BTM TV. You mentioned something really core about the diversion that you get. How do you intend to help these people in these very parts of the country? How do you intend to help us with the diversion?
By creating a conversation which keeps them away from the diversion. The reason people are easily diverted is because there is no dominant conversation. Okay, now people, anybody who is not busy doing something will be diverted by anything that comes around. Now, if you come and find somebody who is focused on something specifically, it is a lot more difficult to divert them into something that is not of importance. So, actually, by simply creating a dominant conversation, people will no longer be so susceptible to diversions as they have been previously. Yes.
Ensonga gold, issue ya gold, Kasanda, Bukuya. Tulaba nga Bannayuganda baali bategedde ku nsonga ya gold era nga beenyigidde mu kulaba nga bakozesa ekyobugagga kyabwe ekyo. Naye ate gavumenti bwe yakitegeera nti waliwo abafunamu akasente kati bali mu kugobebwawo. Kakati ensonga ng'ezo zigenda kukwatibwako zitya?
Anti kati webale nnyo ezo ze zimu ku nsonga ezituleetedde okujja okutandikawo kino ekisinde, kubanga buli awali ebyobugagga ojja kuwulira nga ab'amajambiya bazze batema abantu kubagoba ku ttaka, ojja kuwulira nga abantu bafa mu ngeri etategeerekeka, ojja kuwulira ebbaluwa bazita batya zino eziyita mu kiro kitwala omunaku. Ebyo byonna bijja, tewali kifo ogenda kuwulira nga batta abantu nga tewali kyabugagga kiriwo. kati juzi nayogera wano nga ndi ku TV nebaga nti nagenza okutunula nti n'abantu bonna bebatte Masaka bali ku luguudo bali ku gunde pipeline y'amafuta wegenda okuyita okugenda Tanzania kati amajambiya wegali ninga abantu bali tebakirowoozangako nene ngamba because nze nagera nentunula ne ngamba tewali muntu agenda kutta mukyala wa myaka 8 okujjako nga kiri muki resources nabagaye buli lutalo lwonna lulimu ebyenfuna buli lutalo lulimu ebyenfuna kati ne ngamba kati ne ngenda ne nnoonyereza omanyize nnoonyereza nkyali wa mawulire ngenda ne nnoonyereza ne ndaba nti bano pipeline eyitawa ogenda okulaba gwe basse ali ku pipeline ono gwasa ali ku pipeline oba ali kumpi ne pipeline oba ebiringa ebyo kati nabe basaabalala basooka ne bateekawo enkola ey'okutya kati nade naakakyogera kati bazze ne wano kigo ebijambiya byazze lwakuba ettaka abanene balyetaaga ate tebaagala digulira ku market price baagala kusooka kusindika abantu ne bakuba ebijambiya abantu ne batya n'olyoka otunda ebintu byo ku bbeeyi dondolo kati kyekiri e Uganda kati naye temubyogerako ate nga bye biruma abantu bonna kati ze kyenvudde nvaayo nebintu birina okwogerwako because bwe tutabyogerako tujja kugenda ffenna because omukazi gwe bajja ne batta ekiro ng'ali mu nnyumba ye bw'atafuna muntu amukaabirako bigenda kitambula butambuzi ne Masaka actually byasooka kujja mu mawulire ne biryoka bikenderako naye kati ffe waffe ewoyima bwe baali baagala okukukusa amafuta baakubanga abantu obutayimbwa naye tebyakuba nnyo mu mawulire naye abantu baafa obutayimbwa buyitirivu buli woosanga ne ebuliisaawo abantu baafanga mu ngeri buli awali ebyobugagga mu Uganda kati awakanya nti si bya pipeline njagala ogenda osome pipeline weyita ombuulire abatannafa ombuulire oba tebatandike kufa naye mubende newa wegenda okuyita bagenda kufa ekyo kyo nkikakasiza ddala 100% because banka eziwa ssente okugula pipeline eyo zigamba abantu mulina obbawa ssente ezijja mu bintu byabwe baveewo nga bamativu tetwagala muntu yenna kugenda nga si mumativu kati ne bagenda ne bababalirira kati n'osanga omukadde abadde alina okufuna mu lusuku lwe miliyoni 3 kati oli nanga okwata miliyoni 3 n'obiwa omukadde ono kyandiba ekyanga okukola ki okumutta bye biriwo kati ate tulina obyogerako because bano tasobola kukwata ssente miliyoni 3 n'abiwa omukadde tebasobola bano bo bamanyi nti bano bo bamanyi nti ssente be bannannyini ssente kati gwe pipeline bwe begenda kuyita ewuwo gwani agenda okufuna miliyoni 2 ne basooka bakubalamu awo nga balaba kiringa okukwata ebisumuzo by'emmotoka n'obiwa omwana w'emyaka 2 ne bagaa nti ono tetugenda muwa ssente olimba kati ne bafuna kye bakukolera awo era kutiisatiisa n'odduka oba ebintu ebiringa ebyo so kati abantu mulina okugenda okunoonyereza amazima tewali kambabulire ettemu ligenda kubeera ly'amaanyi ne gye bujja eyo tewali we bagenda kutemula bantu nga nsonga si ya byanfuna ekyo kyo nteekawo n'omukono gwa ensonga ejja kuba egi ya byanfuna kati ensonga lwaki tulina okwogera kweno ensonga y'ebyenfuna kubanga kyekintu ekiriwo ate ffenna kizo tutwala ffenna kati gojja kuba oli bulungi lwakuba tonnafuna katakako ke bazudde mu mafuta ne banaakazuulamu amafuta ojja kuwulira ebinaavaayo kati abala abaana bo tebamanyi oba oga nti anze mumpe miliyoni 5 bajja kutta omwana we atwale miliyoni 2 asirike kasa si yakola ki si yapakasa kati kyekiriwo kati baganda wange mwaba mawulire bino ebintu bino byogerako because abantu abo singa Masaka mothers temwazoogerako zaali badde zigenda mu maaso singa kati bali Rakai kubanga pipeline gyegenda okuyita Lwengo gye batandikidde abafudde bonna basinga bali Lwengo district kati bagenda Rakai mujja kuwulira ne Tanzania pipeline gyegenda abantu bonna babasasudde ssente zaabwe ne bavaayo ne bagenda nga bamativu gavumenti ye Tanzania kati n'abazimba pipeline ne bagaa kirabika mu bannayuganda ebintu byammwe temunabitereeza bulungi pipeline katutandika ogizimbira wa e Tanzania kati basazeewo bagenda kutandika kuzimbira Tanzania naye nga amafuta gali Uganda lwaki lwakuba bano babalamu ssente ne bagaba ddayi ono omukadde ono tumuwe miliyoni 3 tekisoboka kati be bantu bafaabo. Next question.
I'm here.
Thank you. Dennis Ibanda Gegange ndi nkola ne Baba TV. Ekyange kiri need ejidde mu kiseera nga kituufu kyogeddeko nga bannayuganda bali mu nnyonta ey'okwejja mu mbeera ey'ebyenfuna and what have you. Kyenjagala okubuuza kyogeddeko mu Luzungu naye njawo kidde mu Luganda. Ekintu kino kya byabufuzi oba kisinde businde. Abantu abalina endowooza egamba nti nno Oweekitiibwa alonkinze ekibiina ky'ebyobufuzi obagamba kye kibuzo ekisooka. Ekibuzo ekyokubiri, President Museveni yabadde ayogera jjo yatugambye nti omuntu akwatibwa ku nsonga ey'okulya mu nsi y'olukwe, ku nsonga ey'okuusa ku ttemu, tajja kuweebwa beyiri mu nsonga ng'eyo. Ng'oli munnabyabufuzi weesimbawooko. Ebigambo bya President Museveni obyogerako ki? Omuntu wadde yali badde aweebwa beyiro ng'aziza omusango mu ddoba nedda.
Muganda wange nja kubuulira nti ze sazze wano kwogera ku musajja oyo. Era owulidde njogedde obwedda sina kye mwogeddeko kyonna kubanga eyo gye bayita diversion. Olowooza tabimanyi amateeka engeri gye gakolamu. Kati yabawadde mmwe mugende muzannye omupiira abazadde babeeko ne bye bakola. Kati naawe ogenza ozannye abazadde bakole ki? Bagende beegatte. Mwabaana mugende muzannye. Of course ebyo abyogera ina. Omusajja temuyiga nga myaka 35. Oye kabaka wa diversion. Kati ezina ensonga abayimanyi kyakola. Kati nemugenda ne mubeera ku ekyo, kati n'ogenda ku TV kikyogamba ku musajja kyeyayogedde n'enkutunuulira ne nga kale kamale gaddamu kuba TV yammwe. Naye ekituufu kyo kiri nze mmanyi nti ensonga buli waayogera ekintu ekiringa ekyo ayina ekintu kyayagala okujja abantu ku mulamwa. So kati ekisooka ekyokubiri ekibuuzo kyebasoose okubuuza kiri nti kisinde si kibiina. Ekibiina kiba kiwandiise ne political party balina engeri gye bagikola. Kino si kibiina, kino kisinde naye nga kikwata abantu. Era tulina abantu ab'ebibiina bingi nnyo, era abamu babadde beeyanjudde mu bibiina byabwe bye balimu, ate tutunabagamba ku byabwe. Ensonga lwaki tufunye kala zino eza maroon ne white eziri neutral. Okitegeera maroon ne grey ze kale ze baconsidering okubeera neutral. Kati ensonga lwaki tuzifunye maroon ne white kubanga kino kisinde si kibiina.
Wewale nnyo Mwami Kabuleta.
Yes, sir.
Ndi wano.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, Aaron Mukama from NTV.
From where?
NTV. Ogambye nti ebyobufuzi ebitambulira ku muntu sekinoomu bisusse nnyo. Toyagala kwata kuba eryo. Olw'ebintu bingi ebize birabibwako nti abantu bagoberera muntu omu ne batagoberera nsonga. Twagala kumanya ekyo mugenda kikwata kitya mutya era lwaki osazeewo okutambula n'abantu aba bulijjo okuva mu bitundu ebyenjawulo.
Kubanga ensonga eriwo eri nti amazima gali nti abantu era obasanga naga tukoye okufiirira abantu kubanga omuntu omufiirira n'avaayo n'otomanya bigenda mu maaso because ebyo tubaddeyo ffenna naffe twayimirirako ne tukola ki okujjako nze saakuba mayinja sisobola naye nga nze nkozesa lulimi lwange naye ng'olaba tomanya end result, tomanya ekintu gye kigenda kuggukira. Naye kati twagala abantu baveeyo bafiiririre obubaka so si muntu ne bubaka nti kino kye tufiiririra. Kati nga bwe nkugambye nti buli omu ategeere nti bwe mba nwanira kyange kubanga obugagga obuli e Buganda si bwa Kabuleta nze sizaalibwa wano owulidde. Kati n'obuli ewaffe oba oli awo kyeŋŋamba bwansi yonna naye ng'abantu b'ekitundu ekyo be balina okusooka okubulwanira n'okugamba nti kino ekitundu tulina okulwanirira ebintu byaffe owulidde. So kati y'ensonga lwaki tutandise kino ne tugamba nti okusinga okugamba nti tugenda kutandika political party nyingi nnyo twagala political party zo ziina omulamwa gwe zigoberera nti eno party eri ku kino. Naye ate bwe tulaba parties endala mu mawanga gaffe amawanga agakulaakulanako tulaba nti parties zibeera ne kabeba candidate babeera n'omulamwa gwe bagoberera. Kati n'omanya nti guno omulamwa we gwa gunkolera ngenda n'ono we gwa tegunkolera sigenda naye owulidde. Kakati kwekyo okulabirako Trump yajja ne yeesimbawo n'agamba America first ng'ogwo gwe mulamwa gwe. Sente zituteeka mu mawanga gonna abantu baffe bali bubi. Kati sente zituteeke eyo mu Afghanistan zonna twagala tuziteeke wano. Kati abantu abamulonda ne bamanya nti ekyo bwe kiba kinsanyusa sironda muntu nonda bubako obwo bwazze nabwo nekyazze nakyo kyengenda okulonda kati naffe kyetuliko wano tetuli ku byakulonda kubanga lukawedde naye twagala abantu okutandika okwogera ku nsonga ezikwata ku bantu nga bino bye twogedde naye ng'ate n'obutabanga tuli bangu nnyo okukola ki vakugulirira divert okuwugulwa ekyo kigambo gye kiri kubanga onambuulidde si muganda so netutabeera bangu nnyo okuwugulwa nti baleese kino n'ova ku nsonga naye ng'ate wano ebyobugagga babitwala mangu next.
Just a follow-up question. You talked about colors of the party, I mean of the movement, which is maroon and white. We would like us to know the leadership, how is the leadership hierarchy and things like that.
The people you see here are our National Steering Committee, the people whom we called. There are 2 people from all 17 regions. So they are our National Steering Committee. Now they will go and create committees in their respective regions, which we shall go and use to kickstart the conversation. But I am the leader. As you heard, I am the leader of the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue, and these people chose me as their leader. Thank you very much. Next.
President Nayanza, nze ne Stray Kayongo kwa ne BBS. Okutumbula ebyefuna kitambula wamu ne ettaka. Abantu mu bitundu naddala omuli ebyobugagga tulabyako Hoima mu Bunyolo nga babagoba ku ttaka. So kino ekisinde kijire mu kiseera nga gavumenti ereeta land reforms okulaba nga ettaka lidda mikono gyayo. So abantu bamagezi kyokulaba nga bakuuma ettaka lyabwe ndaba mu bitundu ebirimu minerals. Naye ekyokubiri ku isi gyoyogeddeko ey'ebijambi y'e Masaka okulonyerezaako kwasinzidde ku ki kituyinza okuyimirako akakasa nti Kabuleta kyayogera kito. Of course ba suspects betulina temuli mugolaba nti ali connected ne project y'amafuta.
Suspects kati kanziremu ekyokubiri first. Ensonga esookera ddala is connection gy'obeera nayo ku nsonga y'amafuta, connection ya ttaka ly'oyina okugenda okuyita pipeline. Ate nga banka eziwa company ekola pipeline y'amafuta zagamba abantu bonna balina okusasulwa. Mulina okubayirira ssente zaabwe buli omu aveewo nga mumativu. Actually baga tetwagala kuwulira nsonga ya human rights oba bantu bonna tetwagala kuwulira nvuuvumo, twagala buli muntu abeere mumativu nti ettaka lyange bampadde ssente ezijjamu ne mbaviira. Kakati abo abaagala jjukira waliwo abaagala nga ye bw'atwala ettaka eryo ku ssente eza wansi ye bajjamuwa ssente eza waggulu kubanga alina connection. Owulidde? Kati ye munene ajja kujja agambe nti lino ettaka lyange naye nga yalifunye mu ngeri eyo bwetyo. Kati ate tulina okusooka okwebuuza waliwo abantu abava mu bitundu ebirala ennyo naye najja n'akulaga nti pipeline weyita wonna alinawo ettaka. Tulina okusooka okubuuzaawo abantu bano baafa batya be baali badde suspects. Naye bino ebyokuwugula abantu ne mugenda ne mukwata b'MPs be tumanyi ffenna nti tebasobola kutta muntu. Waliwo akyakimanyi nti abo bantu abasajja tebasobola kutta muntu? Abo n'ensowera eyinza obbalema okutta. Oyo ne bw'omugaasala enkoko awo tugirye eyinza omulema. Naye ne mubateekako omusango gw'okutta nga buli omu akimanyi tebatta muntu. Okitegeera kati waliwo okuwugula abantu era bajja kubeeraawo biki mubeere mu katemba naye nga actually ekigenda mu maaso eri kikyagenda mu maaso. Naye olw'okuba ab'amawulire mwangu okubawugula bannange kati mwena mujja kusigala kati eyinnya bamutaddeko guno drone zamukutte zakoze kyoka ekyo kirungi kubanga abasajja tumanyi nti tebalina gwe baziriza musango ekyo kyo nkimanya 100%. However tugende ne ku kiri kati nze bwe njogera genda onoonyereze waki nze ŋŋendayo okunoonyereza amawulire nagavaamu nagalimu nengavaamu mugende munoonyereze neze noonyereza because natuula wano ne ŋŋamba lwaki nentandika okunoonyereza nenvayo ne conclusions ezange tosobola zitwala gundi mu court of law nenze nkubuulidde bubuulizi so kati ono bamusse kikyayina ttaka lya pipeline ono naye bamutta kikyayina ttaka lya pipeline otuuka ku bameka 3-4 noga ensonga ngitegere si bwe kiri kasasi bya kooti byakutegeera butegeezi kati netusinziira awo netugenda mu maaso. Ekyokubiri wagambye otya? Ettaka kati ensonga eyo number 1 njogedde wali resource number 1 esingira ddala mu ggwanga ttaka. Nsonga yaki? Ttaka kubanga tewali kigenda kukolebwa nga abantu kati netteeka lye baleese etteeka lya kujja ttaka mu mikono gy'abantu okuliteeka mu mikono gya gavumenti. Naye kati ate gavumenti tumanyi teba gavumenti babeera bantu. Eno eyaffe teziringa eno eyaffe bantu buntu. Era bagenda buli kimu kati bakijja mu mikono gy'abantu. Kati walabye etteeka ly'emmwanyi, baleese emmwanyi, kati mwanyi ne bazijja mu mikono gy'abantu. Kati nze we twakulira nga we twagendera mu ssomero ng'abaana bajja ne basoma naye nga bali ku ssente za mmwanyi. Owulidde? Naye kati kankuwa ekyokulabirako 1996 bano bannansiko we bajja mu buyinza twali tutunda emmwanyi mu Uganda miliyoni za dola 193 dina 193 miliyoni za dola. Kati tugenda mu miliyoni za dola 7 ez'emmwanyi. Ziri 119 twalabanga abantu abasomye emmwanyi tewabalaba. Okay, nja kubuuza bano abakuzeeko temwalaba mmwanyi zaabala sente yazijja wa mmwanyi nga sente ziri mu bantu ez'emmwanyi. Kati mbuli omuntu omugagga w'emmwanyi gw'omanyi. Naye ng'ate sente ze tutunda ez'emmwanyi zeeyongedde zikubisisaamu emirundi 3 naye ng'ate abagagga b'emmwanyi tobalaba. Kati kambawo kino n'abato kye basobola okutegeera. Wantu walina abagagga b'ebyennyanja si bwe kiri tayikuunu b'ebyennyanja. Naye kati ebyennyanja okyalabawo tayikuunu okujjako nga mu China. Babijja mu bantu ebyennyanja ne babijja mu bantu ne babajja ne ku myalo. Kati abachina be bafuli. Kakati nolaba nti ani agaggawadde mu byennyanja. Twabeeranga ne batayikuunu nga musajja mugagga byannyanja. Sente ze twatundanga ebyennyanja okutwala mu Europe naddala mu European Union zeeyongedde zeekubisizaamu kuva mu 2008. Naye ng'abantu boolaba bafunamu sente tobalaba kubanga abantu balubatu. Kati n'emmwanyi bwe zityo bwe zigenda okubeera ne vanira bw'atyo bwe yali. Ojjukira vanira? Season egi abantu ne bafuna sente. Abanene balyoka bategeera nti vanira mulimu sente. Ne bajja ne bakola ki? Ne bakikutula. Kakati tulina okutandika okwogera ku zino ensonga. Bwe tutazoogerako bajja tunyiga. Ate kati kitandikira mufe ab'amawulire kati neeteekemu nange. Kitandikira mufe ab'amawulire okwogera ku nsonga zennyini nnyini ezitutawaanya. Mwebale nnyo. You are saying I do what? I say it in English. What? Sokoddemu obuuze by'obuziza? Anti kibiddemu obibuuze babyagala mu Luzungu. Anti yati ddamu ababyagala mu Luzungu bati. No, okay. He was talking about the land law which they are doing to remove the Milo land tenure system, which is totally unnecessary. And I can tell you this. There are 3 things that will never disappear from this country as long as we have this current leadership, okay, of these bushmen. Number 1 is land issues. That one will never, never disappear. They create the problem themselves, okay? There is a system they call problem outcry solution. They create the problem, then bring a solution, which at the end of the solution, they are the ones who own the land. So even this land issue they are bringing, they are bringing it for the purpose of taking all the land that has resources. And we know it, but we are not talking about it. That's why we have to go with the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue. We have to talk about that issue. Because the whole issue of land is to, first of all, take people away from their indigenous, place. For instance, if you come here in Buganda, before the Kabaka became Kabaka, what was he? No, what was he? Sabataka, isn't it? Now if you take away the land, what will he be? So you see, land is at the heart of all cultural things. That's why even before the Kabaka is crowned, he's called Sabataka. He's the owner of the what? Of the land. Now if you take away the land, you have nothing. You've taken away the institution. So now this is what the people have to fight. By the way, the people up there might not be able to fight it, but we have to start a conversation, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Thankfully, I have people here who are very, very willing to join in this thing, okay? And from different parts of the country. We have to let people understand that land is the #1 resource. Because God made the world once, he's not going to add any more land, okay? So you have to protect your land, regardless of where you are. Bunyoro, Teso, Buganda, Bukedi, Toro, Chigezi, you have to protect your land. Thank you very much. Last.
nina ekibuuzo mwami Kabuleta. Amanya gange nze Ntegedde Nzinkwani Fresh TV. Tulabye ebiseera bingi naddala emyaka nga 3 emabega 2017. People Power nayo yajjanga ekisinde ky'ebyobufuzi nga si kibiina. Ekiseera kyayita kitono nnyo ne kifuuka ekibiina ky'ebyobufuzi ne kitwala n'abaka mu paalamenti. Oli munnabyabufuzi. Mu bbanga eritali lyawala tukusuubira okubeera nti naawe osobola okukola ekintu kyekimu kye twalaba ku People Power kuba nayo yajja n'omulamwa gw'amaanyi g'abantu ekimala ne kifuuka ekibiina ky'ebyobufuzi kati ekyetongedde.
Okay, omanyi nze ngoberera script yange. Sina script ya muntu mulala gye ngoberera. Nze ebintu byange mbikola original. Owulidde. Tewali singa nali njagala okukwata amakubo ago. Police brutality biki batukubye bakoze eki naligenzeeyo. Ne mu kalulu saagenda yeeyo. Kubanga nze nali njagala abantu tubeere ku mulamwa. Because kyangu nnyo okukwata abantu n'obakyamula n'okola ekyo nakyo nali nsobola okukikola. Ne saayagala kgenda eyo. So kati nze script yange egenda mu maaso sigoberera ya muntu mulala yenna. Owulidde. Kati ne bana abantu wali owuliddeyo omuntu ajja n'aganze ngenda kukolagana n'abantu abeesimbawo ne batayitawo. Nze ate benkolagana nabo. Wali okiwuliddeyo ekyo? Bw'obanga waakulonda tetukwagala. By the way, ne gwe baalonda mu 2016 ne kati ne yeesimbawo naye tetumwagala. Bw'oba ali olinnyeeyo tetukwagala. Kuba ofuna platform eyogera ensonga zo. Kati twagala abeesimbyewo ba politician naye nga tebakulondanga tolinnyangayo. Kati ekyo wali okiwuliddeyo ekyo kiri original wano. Owulidde ojja kisanga mu need. Kati nze olunyiriri script yange gye ngoberera ndala nnyo. Sina script ya muntu mulala gye ngoberera. Nze ndi original thinker. N'ebintu bye njogera byange original. So ebyo byogamba okay kyabakolera engeri gye kyabakolera nenze njaga kukyusa conversation kyekikulu wano ekiriwo. Kati ate script gye tugenda mu maaso eyo simanyi egenda genda. Nenga ku kati ensonga gye tuliko kufuna bantu mwe kwogera ku bintu bya gundi. Kubanga babawugulaza nnyo. Ne batwala amafuta muli awo musimba miyembe. Ne bakola ki? Omanyi nti abantu abategeefu. Bagale katunaffe katusimbe emiyembe tufune sente mu mafuta. Badala. Mino ya mafuta bagatwala. So twagala baleme kugulaza abantu mu nsonga eyo. Okay. Ndoza ebibuzo biweddeyo. Mwebale nnyo.
Very much.
Mwebalire ddala.
Mwebale nnyo kutwala akadde okujja aba press. Ensonga etandise. Let the conversation continue. The delegates, please don't leave yet. This conversation has only just started. Thank you very much. There is going to continue an in-house engagement. So delegates from various regions. This conversation has only just started. Yes. Okay, so as this has been launched, let me invite delegates on the platform. I told you at the beginning, you begin by moving here, now you are going to another level. So can you all come up the platform and we toss to the launch of NEED. Come. And all the other members, please, if you are in a... Come. Let the media take the full story. Come with your kofira. Come and we launch this thing. The need, because I need you. We need each other. Hey, come over. And how we are going to launch it, we'll remove our caps and just raise it up in the air. But be careful, don't knock those vases down. Hey. Those who are. So the catchword is. Yes.
Okay, now what we are going to do, we'll just lift up our hands like graduates, and then we'll have launched need. Okay, because? Okay, thank you very much. We do it, hey, wait, these guys were sleeping, we do it again. Okay, ready? Because? Okay.
Okay, so Mr. President, you'll be here. And then, yeah, let's do that. How do you want it? Both sides? Yoling, wana kara. Yes, that is a. Hey, come here. Thank you very much. So each one of you that lives here, go away knowing that we need each other because there is a need. It has begun today. It is going to continue. The delegates, the story is just unfolding for us to know what you're going to be carrying back with you to your various places of origin. Ever asked yourself why in the story of creation God created man last? Having put everything in place in appropriate proportion, and then he saw a need to have man reign over his creation. Now some of us have, some don't have. And that is near evil. So if you're coming from Bunyoro, ask yourself, like I said, as humans, we are living in these times as loans from our children. And when you take a loan, you pay it back with a profit. Huh? So when you take a loan, you pay it back with profit. But in this world that we are living in, all of us say, "Nkolera abaana bange," I'm working for my children. But in actual sense, what are you going to hand over to your children if you can't even defend that which is in your midst? Abe Bunyoro, when they deposit their droppings, it falls on oil, and that is the best contribution they make. Then someone stands somewhere and puts a luseke and it draws the oil. And it draws the oil and drives a nice car, builds a nice house. And you and I will keep hoping. Oh, by the way, the Baganda have olugero nti olugenda enjala lukola ki? Teludda. And oluganda kola ki? Kulya. N'olw'ensonga eyo, mikwano gyaffe, bannamawulire, n'abagenyi abayitiddwa okuva ebule n'ebweya, banaye temutusuulirira. Waliyo entegeka ekijjulo weekiri. Tugamba nti not even something to eat. There is something to eat. So kindly don't just go away empty stomached. But if you can forget anything, please do. Don't forget this one. That because there is a need, we need each other. I need you, you need me, and we must start the conversation. I come from Toronto. Okay, don't raise your eyebrows. But if you ask Google, you'll know where Toronto is in eastern Uganda. I happen to be a Japanese from Toronto. Eh? My brother from Penlango is wondering, hey, Japanese from Toronto. Yes, we are very few. And indeed, we had an invasion of the Chinese and we thought they had brought development. I only learned of recent what was purported as being solar plant and sijui what and so on and what. These guys came, mined uranium, and they have disappeared. The question is, You know, they say the grass always greens by the water, by the bank. Si bwe kiri? Nti amazzi wegakulukutira, essubi libeera litya? Ligimu. But you can imagine the oil is flowing from Hoima to wherever. Naye omuddo mukalu. The gold is flowing from wherever. Naye oli awo oyanja ngalo. Somebody came from wherever many years back and came and said, Uganda is the pearl of Africa. The country with the largest freshwater body in the world. If we only even just exported just water alone, just water, to maybe Japan and China and India, or to the Arab world, we are now exporting our young girls. Exporting our young girls to abuse when we could make their lives better. As a young man, I was one time cleaning in the house, and then I came across a book, and there was a sentence. The greatest evil of man is to do the lowest when the highest is possible. Ugandans, we are so comfortable with the lowest. We have been beaten so bad, so battered, so abused, so insulted, to the point we are comfortable. We think it is okay to be poor. We think it is okay for you to be the way you are and others be the way they are. It is about time. It's about time we began a conversation. And when this conversation begins, ask yourself, gwokozeewo ki? Let us not add only numbers. Let us add value. Chinua Achebe once said, when a man invites their kin to come for a feast, it is not to rescue them from hunger. Or indeed, if they watch the moon from his courtyard, it doesn't mean they can't watch it from their own. But because it is important for the kinsmen. My brother, my sister, there is a need to be here. For sure, you would have been wherever you are to do whatever you could have been doing. Let today the 28th of September in the year of our Lord 2021 mark a beginning. A beginning that will satisfy you that if you don't achieve, at least you will be content that you died trying. It will be very sad if on your deathbed you are there saying, kale singa nakola kino. Kale singa nayogerayo kino. I wish I had done this. I even wanted to do it. I even wanted to say it. I wish I had. Waliwo omwami omwe yagamba, whether you speak or you don't speak, the outcome is the same. Tafadhali, you speak. You speak. Say something. Die empty of your wishes. The president has said he has launched it. Don't let, my brother, don't let your travel on this day from Kwen to Kampala be just a journey to see monkeys on the way, to see the new bridge, to consume dust on the new roads being constructed. Let your journey back to Kwen, to Kapchorwa, to Sebei be a journey of revolution. Let the change begin. You may not have the money to do it. At least you have the mouth to say it. If you can't, Mother Teresa said, we all can't be great people, but we can do small things in great ways. Don't speak because you are convinced. Speak because you are convicted. Believe in what you're telling that person you're going to meet from now on. Forget about who is occupying which seat, but just ask the one. I was in Iteso one time during the period of mangoes. You know, you eat mangoes, and then the whole ground is littered with juicy, ripe mangoes going to waste. Oh, we are going to put a fruit factory. Oh, we are going to put a what? Wajameni. Tafadhali tuongee. Tafadhali tuongee. So, there are still a couple of engagements with the president. Once he gets here, we will, but it doesn't stop us from starting to have a conversation, even among us. I think at an appropriate time, when the people of Swallowship are ready, they will give us notice so that we go and engage in Swallowship. Yes, my brother. You can, for purposes of the others knowing who is speaking, you can again introduce yourself and where you're coming from. And then let us start the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Once more, I'm Mwanga Jackson from Sabay, where I contested for chairman LC5. The other time of racing for MP, the agenda have not scored the maximum expectation because of many factors, which are majorly characterized finances. Given that state, I have not yet withdrawn because I am properly now organizing smartly to enter into parliament for the next period. However, on our issue of need, I was asking myself a question that now, where is Uganda going? Because I was actually very unhappy. When some investors came, they say investors, they bought an area where there is oil discovery of recent. And I was asking myself, where is the water going, surely, for the case of Uganda? Now they have discovered there is oil here, they have bought all this region. Then they say this for the investors. Very little money. And I want to thank this team of ours who are actually very vibrant. When I came with my colleague, I'm happy now to hear new things. That means a child has been born, and this child should not die. That's our policy now when we are here. When we are here, when you go back home, you know the government has designed a strategy in which, when we are in politics, I remember when I was at Macquarie University, when I was contesting for the what? For this politics of guild representative council. It has been decided in a way up to the village. It has been decided in a way that people are now concentrating on themselves, fighting themselves. When you are contesting, you are very busy saying that man is bad. That one has been bribed, the campaign manager of another person, to go and spoil your name. So as a need has arisen, this is my advice to my very colleagues. I'm happy that we are now together at this stage, whereby when we go back home, we need to leave those differences. Then we now say we belong to one house. We work as a team. Most of these people who are now in these fellas who are in power, they have established a new system whereby if they say, you man, what do you want? Yet they have the written agenda in their vocabularies. But they cannot tell you the secret behind. An example is Pulisa. An example is my place. But what happened in Pulisa is exactly what is now happening in Bugisu and in Sabay. The lower side of Bugisu and the lower side of Sabay. Already over, I don't know how many hectares of land has been taken, which also happened to Pulisa, where it brings conflict between, if you have got a very good statement, that Pulisa was first initiated by another man who bought that area. But later on, when the man who is now in power came to learn that, he put there the security what? To counteract this one. So now, exactly what is now taking, yet those people have not been paid. Like this one is of mine who have not been paid. The leaders which we normally elect are the ones who are not supposed to have gone to parliament. But the ones who are supposed to have been in the parliament actually are left out. Because first of all, when they are voting, if it is 20,000 voters, the person who is winning is around 5,000, 6,000. Next one is 2,000, 3,000, like that. What about the rest? Where are they? If you want to know that there is a massive method of using finances in terms of rigging. So some of you people have been hearing when you have been introducing yourselves. Most of you contested, but you fall into victims of that type. You are actually on my class, where you fall into that victim. So I want to, first of all, to thank you for coming today. Then secondly, most of you are getting the information now. Now you have got the message. I have come to realize through our boss here that what is very important is to deliver the message to the community. Now my question is, what are we going to deliver? If you are from Lango, if you are from Eastern, from West, have you established facts on the ground that the community down there is in position to hear you? At the end of the day, you will convert him. You know, for me, I'm a Catholic. For us, we believe that can you use the skills you have to convert somebody with discipline? First of all, when you go to the village, you need to be well-behaved. Talk smartly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a very sensitive area. Whereby when you are with the people, if they are talking a lot, you can also give them time. Then you listen. It's part of behavior. It's part of a way that you can now convert. If they can convert you, like in police, in my place in Bugisu and Zabay, if they can convert those people and the leaders accept that let this area go, why don't you convert these fellas? And then they also say no. How can we retain our resources? How can we move after now our children are the next people to come and benefit? I think that is an advice to our colleagues. Then in addition to that, I also wanted to add something very, very important. Just of reason, I went somewhere near Amuta district, and you are moving towards that site there. I got some Chinese company, very busy mining gold. I stopped. Then I say, you people, what is taking place here? Then they say, that is a Chinese company. What? Mining what? Gold. Those are their machines. This is a very sensitive area. Then when I was asking that the question, I say, are they licensed? Are they legal here? They say, yeah, they have a license. They have this. Just you cannot even confirm whether it is true or not. And these people are very busy with their machines. I took first of all my time there observing. Men are very busy working down there, mining gold. And there is a vehicle which is packed for transportation process. Now they were talking of police, oil sector. What about the gold in these extreme ends? So with those few remarks, it is just a discussion that when we go back home, let's have the tips of telling these people what is required, how they should what? Act. So that by when time reaches, we are capable of winning some of these resources, and Ugandans will be okay. Otherwise, thank you very much. We shall continue as we are together.
Thank you. I want to appreciate the submission from my brother from Gwen. But I also want to reiterate what the principal said. And when people were introducing themselves here, we come from different political shades. And there is no attempt to want to take you from your political shade into another. I want us to be very categorically clear about this vehicle. Because you might be tempted to want to think, now there is a party called NEED, so you have to get someone from FDC and convert him to NEED. There is a party. No. The issue about economic empowerment does not know tribe, does not know party. The difference that there are, even in what you would call the dominant NRM, there are those that have and there are those that hope to have by belonging. And we are saying, can we unmask this mystery? How come for every potential business opportunity, mineral, every God-given riches that we have, it is dominated by a handful? Can we be interested even in where we are? Even where you are, can you ask, but wait a minute. This uranium is in Tororo. I can tell you Tororo, even the only roundabout, which is the biggest, has potholes. But we have limestone in Tororo. We make cement for many years. We keep exporting, we keep taking to wherever, to wherever, to wherever. Couldn't there be a need to say, look, for every so many grams or kilos or tons of cement, this has to contribute to this road? On the way to my village, there is a town called Nagongera. When I was a young man, there was a portion of tarmac, there were street lights, there was a dairy factory. The dairy factory is since the late, it has been turned into a maize mill. It is milling cassava and like there are no cows anymore. The tarmac, you begin, you know, even the potholes in Uganda have improved. Some roads you begin by keeping left. Along the way, you can't keep left anymore, you keep what is left. As you continue driving, there is nothing left to keep. You just fall in whatever is ahead of you because you must keep going on. What became of us? What became of us?
Thank you very much. My name is Baguma Frank from Central Region. I think the President, Joseph Kabuleta, the former candidate, in the presidential elections. Personally, I have gotten an opportunity of interacting with different people, doing different economic activities. For instance, the farmers. I personally had an opportunity of talking with them and knowing their mindset. And I found out that in different regions of this country, farmers are one of the groups that has been much squeezed and impoverished. That's why we have, I think, the president of coming up with this need, the need of having a dialogue of economic activities. I found out that so many farmers right now, the current farmers, they don't know how it was back then, a farmer having the finances in their pockets. Some of them have put into the atmosphere of survival. That's why right now we have so many pupils in education sector. They are studying just for the need of survival. How can I study and survive in this Uganda? And they are kept away from the reality of us empowering ourselves in specific economic activities. Like, for instance, I just with some farmers, and I told them that, do you know that your land is a treasure that you can use and utilize and have a better life, and not only for survival, but also for future use for your children. You understand? So most of them that I talked with, they were actually enlightened, and they told me that, how about we come on the ground and we organize different farmers and we talk to them and we tell them that, you know, that this is now the price of this crop or this product on the world market. Because most of them, they are ignorant of even the prices, because they are very, very, very squeezed. So I thank the president for coming up with this movement, and we shall move and we shall empower the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. He has tapped on the issue of, for example, education. For me, this is how I put it. Our education system now is like food only for filling the stomach, but has got no nutrients. Olya kukutabu kusinenga temulimu bijimusa. Mmere temulimu value. Nengo mukuto okuta. Katunkuma ne mawogo n'okuta n'empigi n'okuba. But you don't develop quantity education. Everybody is in school. People leave university, then they come for internship in your workplace, and then you tell them, can you write for me with this week's report? Sir, but how do I do that? You meet a graduate of Makerere University. You tell them, I come from Tororo. Tororo, is that in Gulu? to even think that another district can belong into another one. You know? So people are being taught answers for passing exams, but are not being educated. There is a need. Godfrey, there is a need.
Thank you very much, Peter. I'm called Oshuo Godfrey Tiang. I come from Tororo County North. That is in Tororo. Now that some people don't know where some of these areas are, it is in Tororo district. And from Bukedi. Members we ought to know very serious issues. One of them is the history of our country. It has been a lot of forgery here and there, people to come to leadership. And when they get there, they become senior consultants, even when they are not consultants anyway. But maybe before I submit, today we are honored. You know, all elections are over, but the East Africa one is still on. We have here a candidate with us, a PhD a fellow, Ojok Anok from Apache. Ojok, are you around? Yes. No, it is a pleasure actually having him amidst us. Then the other thing is economic backwardness. Not moving forward. We are just stagnant. We are stagnant. And what has caused all this? Just two. One, what literature people call it meadoloquence, and then the other one, Sabanism. A state of confusion, militarism, and you don't understand it. Because everybody wants to survive where there is a gap. If I say I put on this kofira and read the Uganda army, and I survive in that way, it is the way to go. And the bright people are left behind, and we are on that kind of quagmire. Then the question is, how long shall we go with this kind of arrangement? Sabini, I'm from Eastern. Sabini land, where my brother comes from, they are taking away 6,000 square miles of land as we talk today. And inside, there is oil. But then there is somebody who has planted sugar cane, but there is even some people rearing cattle in that very land. They don't want Sabines to talk. And they have chased them from the lower land where they must farm to the mountains on top, the owners of the land. They are now staying on top of the mountain. Am I lying, my brother from Sabine land? Am I right? Yes. So some of this conversation, it is serious that we need to liberate our people and ourselves. Now, the economic gap. Do you know Uganda is about to reach a state that somebody will just come from Kenya with his money and becomes a leader here, a president? Because our people, they have reduced them to that. It is not their making, but they have reduced them to that. That when somebody gives something, then now you can also give a vote. So this is not just something we need to joke about. It is something that we should handle it, and we know this, our own land God has given us. Now, because I'm in the presence of man of God, who is also now my leader, in 2 Timothy 1:7, I can quote it and read it offhand. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind. Where is now this mind we are talking of, this sound mind we are talking of? It is what we should now contextualize and then put it to action. And if we put it to action, it will be simple. I've started. Every Wednesday, I'm in UBC, and then every Saturday, I'm in East FM, talking about one thing. I don't know, somebody communicated with me. Immediately when the election was over, I told my people, I'm no longer against anybody. I'm now for everybody, but what we want is a good Uganda. Are you now in NRM? No. I'm now for, even those who have passed, I'm now friends to them. But the direction is this, that we must have a better Uganda for all of us. Brothers, people are suffering where we are from there. I'm telling you, people are suffering. There are people who have lost it all. They no longer, they cannot put on shoes, and in many, where the uranium is, where cement, every house you see in Uganda, cement comes from Tororo. But our people are suffering. Bunyoro is, they have just started with oil, with us who have been with that cement all along. But the poorest in Bukedi was the second last after Karamojo. With cement, oil, gold, we are the second last in Uganda. Even in Toma is better than Bukit, just in Toman, they only grow, what? Banana. Yes, after Ambarara, in Tom. They are better in Tom. They are better than in Tororo, where there's cement, uranium. So, our principal, you have just opened a discussion that is already on with some of us, and we pray that each and everybody who is here is going to take this seriously and never be diverted. You see, the Sigirinas and then Sawanyana, it is a diversion. It is not that they want now Baganda son. Our Sigirinya, who has even brought a hospital for us, so that you only go to Kawempe, you live with serious issues. Diversion. So if you want to be diverted, actually we should even ignore that diversion. Say, if you have got the surgery, you take them. Take them. But our issue is the medical services that we need in Kawempe. If you take him, get a way that we should get it appropriately. If this demand comes on top, would have really changed our country. For God and my country. Thank you, Opata Peter.
Thank you very much. You know, there is a book called Don't Think of an Elephant, written by Professor George Lakoff. That if you want to divert attention, or if you want to do something, prohibit people from doing it. Ever wondered why when they told you don't sit on a cooking stone, you became more curious and wanted to sit on it? Don't think of an elephant. Briefly, and then you give it to him.
Thank you very much once more. Our principal was not around briefly, shortly, when I was speaking, and I'm now happy that he's around. I'm just making a resolution. I was talking of what I was actually talking about on the oil sector in Bugisu and Sebei sub-region. Actually, Bugisu is 6,000 miles, 6,000 what? Hectares in terms of land coverage. Of recent, they have discovered oil in Sebei, the lower side. This oil sector has already been taken off by the investors. The name is investors, but we don't know the details. Unfortunately, they have now thrown the locals who have been cultivating there out of these other places. And actually, I'm very happy that the need is now born that we must talk about this area. So my resolution was that I request our principal to also have audience to us in the area of the radio talk shows. In terms of media, side that the information now flows very fast. Because currently the people are now talking who has bought these places, they say manya who and who and who. These are the people who have given people very little money. Like the gold I was talking about in the Kiriki sub-county, in that area of Amodat. They are taking gold and the people are being paid just very little money by the Chinese company. Those are some of the issues we are actually talking about. But when you go through media, through communication and radios, people will now react. And the message will flow faster. That was actually my request. Otherwise, we are together.
And I know the principal will comment, but let me also just say this, that we must do things in an unconventional way. If you want to go to seek for that they should invite you to the radio to talk, that is where you're going to be beaten, because that is their dominance. Let us begin the conversation with each other to the point that the radio will look for us. To the point that they will need us to go and explain this even in further detail, because we will be the conversation. Because there will be no news if need has not given headline. So let's commit to this conversation so much so that everywhere a media person goes, he will be made reference to need. But if you want to start it this way, that is how it has been done for all these years. They will only do what? Block you, or wait for you to go on radio and they switch it off and you talk to yourself.
Thank you very much, my brother. Sometimes I fail to find a way to start certain conversations, but God willing, God will help me to start. First of all, I want to thank our principal, Joseph Kabuleta, for inviting me here. My name is Ali Babi. I come from a region called Bunyoro. I've known Joseph for quite a while, since I was a young man. In fact, Joseph Kabuleta is the first person who took me to a radio when he was working to Radio 1 on the locker room for sports. I'm a sportsman, so he took me there, having seen some talent in me, and I gave him a little I could do. So here we are. Because there is a need, I am here, we are also here. We are all here. Gentlemen and ladies, this country is not going to change by tweets, by Facebook, by sujui what. It's going to change by action. Our cries, even before I talk about the story in Bunyoro, it is a similar situation all over the country. That we have people who have chosen themselves to be the supreme of others, that they should own everything in this country. It is really absurd. It is painful. When you people are watching TV and you see Bunyoro, that they have made very good, beautiful roads in Bunyoro, for one major reason or two. One is oil. Secondly, is the people who have taken over the land. It is no longer us. Where do these people get the capacity, the authority to own square miles of land? Somebody, one individual owning square miles of land. My brother, I have talked about 6,000 over hectares. I am now in a battle of a family from somewhere which is on the level of a cadastral plan of 75,000 acres of land in the next to Lake Albert, where there is oil, where there is going to be a pipeline passing through. Very soon, by the way, you're going to see me on TV, because I went on radio and said, these guys, the only way you can own land is when you inherit it or buy it. Where did these guys buy this land? You people, you are going to suffer. You are going to be slaves in your own country. I'm not cursing you. If we don't rise up at this time, we are going to be slaves in this country. We are going to be slaves. Our kids are going to curse us. There's a time when we are all going to be compiled in Kampala or in these cities. Somebody taking 75,000 acres of land as an individual. Where did you buy it, or who died here that you inherited this land from? That should be a conversation, which for some of us have started it. By the way, I started a long time ago. You young people. In 2004, these machines here you see, the tear gas cars, started with me. When I led the demonstration from Hoima to Kampala over the tamaking of Hoima Busonjo Road, I was the first person to be tear gassed by those trucks you see here. So you younger people, get out from wherever you are. Get out from Facebook. Time is going to reach when you can no longer even buy data. And this is the time we must stand up. Because our younger people have now been diverted, like our principal was saying, into football. Now they are discussing Bad Black being an ambassador of Victoria University. Now it's going to take the entire week. It is deliberate to divert us. The biggest factor of production is land. When you don't have land, you are a pauper. Unless you want to tell us we're going to resign and be servants of these people. Which is going to happen, by the way, if we don't rise up. Somebody owning square miles of land. Were you born so special from others? And where did you buy it? So, need. By the way, let me tell you guys, if you're going to join in need, be assured you're going to confront these guys. There will be a time when you will confront these guys. Because this country, this regime, ever since it came to power in 1986, empowering people has not been their thing. Never. They don't want to empower you to talk. They can never empower you to ask for questions. That's why they've beaten every youth.
into submission. By 2021, from 2001, they have been coming with different modes of things. Entandikwa, emioga, what, just to divert you and bring yellow t-shirts and usher to you, and then you make noise that NRM. So the thing for this regime is not about empowering you, but we must empower ourselves. Don't wait for these guys that they're going to empower us. Never. Empower ourselves, demand, ask for these questions. The principal was talking about export of coffee. Some of us are a product of these cooperatives. Our parents never used to pay hard cash. They would just go to a school with a slip of where he sold his coffee. And you go to the entire year because he knows the man has money. We have, like he said, we are increasing the export of coffee. But now, who is a role model here of a coffee farmer in Uganda or somebody who has benefited out of this farming? So these are questions we should entrust ourselves. This is where we should divert our attention to, not about the bad blackers or Sewanyanas. Just give it a deaf ear. They will just leave it. Just don't mind about it. Ask, where is our oil going? Other regions, if you have not experienced this because you haven't got anything tangible, but the moment they hear anything in your area, they are going to come and obliterate you. Instill fear. By the way, this country is ruled by fear. They just instill, and these are cowards. These are biggest cowards, by the way. Even if they came here and we rose up, the only thing they can throw tear gas canisters here and then we run away. But they are cowards. That's why they use these. They cannot engage people. They don't want to engage, but they just want to grab. So need has come at a time when some of us have already on the move to direct the country toward thinking in the right direction, asking right questions. Where is our oil? Where is our gold? Where are our minerals? As we talk now, Bugoma Forest is cut down. We rose up, some people were put in jail. So the rest of the people kept quiet. The moment they put 2, 3, 4 people in jail, the rest keep quiet. Because there is a need, we are here. Because we need a change, because we need a better country, we should stand up, raise against these injustices. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bobby, I just want to pose a question. How does your knowledge of who the Victoria University ambassador is put food on your table? If you know who the ambassador of Victoria University is, how does it put food on your table? How does knowing whether or not who has been given bail or not given bail put food on your table? What is the chance that if you question how or where the oil money from your village is being used will eventually give you part of the share of that? We need to get engaged in these things into questions and concerns that are relevant to our causes. Because all these things, like you rightly said, kudisa, throw a bone the other side, then they all run that way. Eno gokolachi, go itao. Bagenda okudda balaba nfuufu. Yate kyekibadde nti omugaga ayiseewo. Musigadde mu nfuufu. So we need to generate debate. And that's why I said this 29th day of September 2021, that you have put aside time to be here, should not be just an ordinary day like all the other days that have happened. And then at the end of the day, ngana wosibula, tuvuddeyo, what happened? Omusajja ayogedde. Agambye eki. Wabaddewo oli ogayo oba bamuyita ani? You don't even remember the name. So we need to knit a brotherhood, a relationship among us begin the conversation. Speak the language that people will begin. Hey, how come you all have a similar mindset? Because it affects all of us. Bwana Okot. Ojok. Oh. Woodlang. Jer.
Thank you so much, Peter. Mr. Joseph Kabuleta, in your own capacity, my name is Isaac Ojokanok. I've never met you personally, but I've been seeing you roar. And I was your great admirer. Today I have the privilege of interacting with you, and I'm privileged. Thank you so much. I want to interest ourselves on why we must come together as a people to demand for our right. And I want to applaud you for taking this bold decision to command this battle. It's not an easy one. My brother here said it, and if we have ears, we must hear. It is not a small decision that you're taking. You have taken up a responsibility to ascertain the true species or species of trees in a forest. Many Ugandans look at forest as forest, but no one takes the advantage to actually analyze what are the species of these trees. But today, Joseph Kabuleta, you've taken that mantle. You are going to lead us in defining the species that form the forest. And if you're a coward enough, we shall get back without knowing the true species of these trees in a forest. I am a student of resource economics, and I always want to talk from that perspective. There are basically three indicators of economic empowerment. The need. 3 indicators. One of which is control of our personal decisions. Today we have decided as Ugandans, by the way, we are representative of the country. We have taken a decision to enlighten our people on why we must own back our resources. It is a decision. And if we win that battle, the indicator of our economic empowerment as a country will be realized for generations to come. What we are trying to do, what we call preserving the bequest value of the country, preserving the country for the next generation, and the next generation. And that is one key thing that we must take up boldly. And I want to take this opportunity to applaud you, Mr. Joseph. Thank you so much. The second indicator is defining our domain and being autonomous. Our domain today is economic empowerment. Because when our principal was here speaking, he said you can go naked, but when you have money purchased somewhere, people will respect you. People will call you by name, and people will call you sir. But you put on a beautiful suit like for our principal, with your empty pocket, you will walk on street alone. So our domain name is economic empowerment. And we must live to that. We must talk to our people, let people recognize that they are Ugandans by virtue of them being a It was a God's given opportunity. And we must educate our people to appreciate that. And not until we realize that we are empowered economically, then we are no Ugandan. There are very few people who are economically empowered, leaving the junk majority to wallop in problems. Stories about Bunyoro is being spoken everywhere. Today I was also educated that much as we are saying we are producing oil, we are still not. Kumbe trucks are on the roads. There are people who are already benefiting from the oil. Where are the majority? So we must live to our domain name and be autonomous. Let us be independent of any eventual. I know today we have started this dialogue. There is going to be a lot of add-ons. But if you don't stand firm, we are going to lose it. Then the last indicator is decision to empower the community where we belong. Bunyoro people, I really sympathize with you. We always call you our nephews, Banyoros. You are the nephews of the Luos. And everything that affects you affects us. You said it. Now, friends, this is a journey. My brother from Bunyoro ably said it that we are not going to get this on a silver plate like the plate which is before us. No one is going to bring it to us. It is going to be a battle. But for us, we have chosen a battle of idea. We want to take these people on ideologically. We want to tell these people that, yes, you've done it, you've robbed us, but we can still revamp our country in this line. So it is not going to be an easy thing. It is going to be a battle, and that we must put on our helmets and fight the battle. We are only privileged because we have amidst us one courageous young man in the name of Joseph Kabuleta, who has accepted to lead this battle. Mr. Joseph, we are behind you. Count on us. And I want to put this as a wind-up. I quote, yes. Yeah. I mentioned 3. Yes, I will share with you. Fine. 1 is control of our personal decision. 2 is appreciating our domain name and being autonomous, empowering the community. I want to quote a word from the old Milton. By the way, guys, I belong to Uganda People's Congress, and I'm very, very upbeat about it. I want to quote from the old Milton in the 1964, the Gulu Delegate Conference. This is what Muse Milton said, the old Milton said. He rose up and said this, I quote, that today we are here as a people of Uganda. But I encourage those who are courageous to take up the front. For cowards, if you know you're a coward, please resign and resign now. I end the quote. I thank you. God bless Uganda.
Hey, Woodline, a foreign attack. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. You know, there are very, very simple things here that we ignore in this country. Do you know why our regions have been changed from the original names now to Savannah, Eragon, Kyoga? Now Bunyoro is no longer called Bunyoro, they are calling it Albertine. Let me leave it for you. The next conference we meet, I want you to come with the answers. It is a very big ploy. Let me cheat exams for you. It's a very big ploy. You ignore it at your own peril. Because that is, once they kill your identity, you are gone. It is Sehanu, it is Central. It is no longer Buganda. They call it Central Region, Kyoga, Savannah, Albertine. Go and think about it.
Food for thought. You know, like Ojok has said, this conversation we are starting today is going to make a couple of household uncomfortable. If people are going to be very uncomfortable with this. But, like I said, be in this, not because you are convinced, but because you are convicted. And when you are convicted, then the game is on your side. You control the game. If you are convinced, then you have no control over the game. You can be persuaded otherwise. And I learned from Mama Babazi, when you're fighting a strong man, you don't fold a fist. Because this fist is a symbol of an attack. You are going to, he might have he will break you. But you know that you need the fist to beat, but you don't fold it. You keep your hands open. And then he will think, you're not going to fight. Then they also relax their hands. And then you tie one finger and break it. Now when one finger of his is broken, you still have a full fist. So you break finger by finger. So in this that we are in, believe you me, and I wouldn't be surprised if even amidst us here, we have people who are already relaying this information to some people. And as soon as you exit here, they will begin telling you, my brother, those are losers. They're just confusing you. What do you want? So if you are not convicted, you will believe that you are being confused. But if you are like I am, then you will know that you're fighting a good fight.
Thank you, Peter. Mr. Principal, our president, the Need Pressure Group, and the comrades around. I am Kaiwa Haruna from Gomba. Mr. Principal and everyone, you have overly emphasized the point of resources. And somewhere you shedded some light. And you said that Uganda has got everything that there is to develop us. Can I give you, for example, a story of Gomba? Mr. Principal and President, can you imagine we have only 10 days to celebrate the 59th year of our independence. In Gomba, we have got Leke Wamala. But merely 2 weeks or a month in drought, we can lose thousands and thousands of cattle just because we cannot give our cattle water to drink. And we normally say, if you forego only 10 trucks of tear gas, those cattle can be saved. They buy trucks for tear gas instead of empowering water to the cattle in the cattle corridor of Gomba. Members, Madu is the third part of the cattle corridor in Uganda to give us cattle. After Ngoma, Mubenda, and then we come to Madu, but we lose cattle. Yes, please. Chisozi is there still. It is in Madu. But he cannot give priority to the people there to get richer. Indeed. So when you call for our total liberation, to use our resources that there are, we don't need foreign effort. But do you know what we do? We visit thousands of times to the Chisozi ranch, to one man, one great man, who marshaled guns here and there and captured our powers. We need our powers. We were one people in Gomba, not minding about Baganda, Banyankore, but what? They could do rare cattle, we could grow cassava. There was a market there. But the disorganized man has taken us into parallel angles. So I augur well with our principal's idea that we have every resources here. We have the market. Do you know that here in Uganda, cooperatives had become part of our norms? Neteri kirumanga muntu kuba cooperatives bazisawo mukukanya kwa bajjajjaffe. N'omusajja n'akwata obubundubundu n'ajja n'atutwalako eggwanga. It is really very painful. 35 years now out of the 59 years. How can you say that we don't have a market when the Karamojas don't grow maize to be proud of? And we have a lot of maize in Gomba. We only need to marshal our economics here and there. So, the story of Lake Wamala, Mr. President, why should Gomba cattle die? Mwali mwagala eggwanga lyonna lyonna libeera ennyanja tube nga byennyanja tulyoke tumanye nti tulina amazzi. We have the freshest water in Uganda. The leading in the whole world. We could supply water to the Karamojong. The Karamojong could give us gold. So, Mr. President, this idea, you have empowered us. We're going to share ideas with those people in Gomba that we have everything that we need. Lake Wamala is there. But when they constructed the roads, it is only the road to take the big man to his farm. The road does not fit within the 2021 time. We could have at least 4 motorcades. Then the next point, I would like to share with you in an idea of national economical empowerment dialogue. Mr. President, why should up to this time teach our children in a foreign language? When you teach, it was said by Mandela, when you teach in a foreign language, you are teaching 15% to that child, to that learner. The 85 is all trashed. You think that the child is captured. They may understand you, but you may not have developed them to capacity of greater innovations. And learning is not for its sake. It is all about discoveries and innovations. Short of those, why then sparing time? Mr. President, as if the word local language is small, Nechiruma, witnessed by a minister of education, can we talk about the 2020 examinations? How can we have 80,000 plus children who, having spent 7 years, tolabanga kiswaza minister, UNEB secretary no imirira, emyaka musanvu okimanyi, kati tuli wano esawa ziringa 5, but we going there well steered. Naye emyaka musanvu ogimanyi n'olangira ate mwata omwana bamulangira nti oyo agudde, mwerabidde nti waliwo omwana eyeetuze nga bamugambye yagudde. Abateetuga babe beegumiza bwegumya, naye omwana omulangirira nti yagwa ebibuuzo, wakiri mubaweeyo ekipapula nti oyo naye yayise emyaka 7. kuba ffenna tetuli balooya, ffenna tetuli ba president, ffenna tetuli baki. Naye omwana emyaka 7, Mr. President, kintu kiteekwa okukyuka. Where are you? You must come up. Omwana n'asoma emyaka 4. Emyaka 4 bane, emyaka 4, let you just put it into your perspective. Emyaka kati tuli wano, we are sharing ideas. Era tugenda while empowered. Naye emyaka 7. N'olima ebijanjaalo n'ozizaamu ezo ngamba seasons. Emirundi 14. Naye omwana n'omulangirira nti agudde. We must empower ourselves. Education system is not, this is a trash system. Minister nojja ne tukuwa ne center allowance n'olangirira abaana emitwalo. 50,000 children having lost. They lost time. They lost clothing. They lost resources. But no achievement. Okay? So demonizing somebody can be a permanent scar. So announcing children having lost 7 years, 4 years, 6 plus, it's very confusing. So I go back to the use of local language. And within that, as I conclude, we would decentralize curriculum. Why a cattle keeper in the Karamoja who needs grass, who needs cattle fodder, should study the same curriculum to 80% as a man who lives near a forest? Mr. President, we need at least to decentralize some curriculum to 85%. Then the 15 should be for national concern. New mwana wa nasale, no gamba, you are proud that he can speak good morning. Abazimbye Kampala sibe boogera good morning. Bebalemu emisomo n'agamba nti nze bino bibasomesa sibitegeera. Nadda ku katunkuma we n'atunda, nadda ku byuma bye n'akuba, olugira ng'azimba akeedi. Fe aboogera luzungu, tunoonya mirimu. So, Mr. President, as we look forward to using need to empower us and our nation, and thereby reclaiming our hegemony, we should think about education. Because education can be compared to the fuel in an engine. A diesel engine fueled by petrol, you know the subsequences. No, Rachel, but what to in us education system, like you have said, our system is petrol driven, but you are feeding with the diesel. We have education, yes, but is it the one appropriate for our engineers? So we need language, we need to decentralize curriculum to shoot those people. No mwana akomye mu P7 abenga alina obulamu obumuyamba. Tulekerawo okunoonya emirimu. And we should also ensure that our education system becomes 85% more practical than the theory that we have. Thank you, Mr. Peter, and everyone. I vow to take on this mission that we liberate our country. Thank you very much, everyone.
Sajja munagomba ensonga ozitambuza bulungi nnyo. Ozigusizza kwegamba simana kyesobola okwongerako. Kubanga you know, Kenya has now launched competence-based education. Lwakuba ogudde science, SST, simanyi now it is called literacy, simanyi biki. Naye ng'omanyi okuyimba, lwaki bakuyita musiru? Why do they call you a failure when there are people who are making millions out of singing? So, weebale nnyo ensonga ezo z'ogusizza. That is where the conversation needs to be. Because you have not got a first class. That one, when we were in school, he was playing football. But people are churning millions of dollars, of euros out of football. Thank you.
Thank you, MC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Omiat from Teso. I am a member of Uganda People's Congress. I've been contesting on the party ticket, seeking mandate from the people of Toroma to go to parliament, but not yet time. I'm delighted to be here because we are discussing issue which most politicians in Uganda do not want to discuss. We discuss economy, empowerment, and a dialogue. Most politicians do not want to discuss this issue. What makes me happy that we are discussing this matter. Today, as we talk, the question is retention and acquisition of resources. As a country, we have resources. Almost all countries we have resources. In Teso, where I come from, everywhere. We need to discuss the issue of retaining those resources. We're under the threat from other international communities to acquire these resources. But our politicians do not want to discuss it. They want to keep us in oblivion. They want to keep us in ignorance so that we don't task them to discuss about our empowerment. We have resources, human resource, which is wasted today. How many of our girls and boys who are in diaspora working under appalling conditions? People do not want to discuss about that. And that is a resource that we have as a country. Nobody is talking about empowering them. Nobody is discussing. But we gather here to discuss about ourselves. What happened in Western Uganda, Bulisa, where land is taken by privileged few who are able to conduct aerial survey and take whole land. And the indigenous people, local people, common people, a community that I come from a common man, is now living landless, as squatters in their own country, living maybe in Teso, rearing animals, because the whole land has been taken by privileged few. We need to discuss this matter, because if we don't discuss, the other areas in the country will also fall in the same what happened in Bulisa. That's why it is very important to discuss about what we have. If we don't discuss it, the number of Ugandans are going to remain homeless, and they become a problem, how to manage them. That's why it's good for us to discuss. How can we empower our community? Our communities do not know what we have. Of recent that a geological survey was conducted. The results of that, the findings of geological survey has not been discussed up to date. Why are they not discussing about this matter? So we need to discuss this. Or we need to provoke debate on this matter so that me who comes from Teso must know what I have in Teso, what we have in Tororo, what we have in Western Uganda. Not to keep me in this darkness. That's why we have to discuss. We have started, I am happy that we have started this to create awareness. The president here was talking about Ugandans are asked to plant oranges and others. There was a zonation in our regions. In Teso, which used to keep a lot of cows, I think with a lot of cows in the country, when you have to look at it in the archives in 1980s, and you find that Teso was the richest region in Uganda. were asked to plant oranges. That does not resonate with our economic power. So if we have to talk about empowerment of Teso, you should not talk about oranges. You must talk about cattle. So these are issues that we need to discuss. Thank you. Thank you. So we need to discuss this issue. Let us not be, if we're supposed to get this, we are given something to keep you impoverished forever. That's a diversion. That's a misplaced of effort and resources. Very few resources we have in the country. We wasted, and poverty continue to grow because we are not utilizing our resources and allocating resources where they're supposed to be. So that is why it is very important. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy today a new child is born. And once a child is born, he is born. And the boy child, we all look at the boy child. But I call upon you that let us be brave, let us be strong. Mr. President, we need all of these people. I don't know what strength they should have. But I just want you to remind you, Robert Omonginodeke is my name, and I come from Bukedi sub-region. Bukedi sub-region was ranked the second poorest in the country. But remember, the second poorest sub-region has 3 running cement factories. 4. I'm reminded 4 of them, but is ranked the second poorest in the country. The second poorest sub-region has 2 gateways, the Eastern Gate, Busia and Malaba. But we are ranked the second poorest in the country. The second poorest sub-region, all the land is arable land. Bunyole produces a lot of rice that can actually feed this country if we went commercial. Busia, where I come from, produces a lot of cassava that can feed the whole of this country if well planned. Granules and millet comes from Bukedi sub-region. But we are ranked the second poorest. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a problem. We are not talking about these issues, but there's a problem. But, Mr. President, I invite you to Bukedi. And I think it should be the first sub-region to be visited. So that we make a research. We know, are these factories, 4 factories, paying royalties to the community? The answer is no. If we have had cement factory for over 60 years, maybe 70 years, because it was built in the 40s. But when you go to Bukedi sub-region, there are 3 grass-thatched houses, and most houses are not cemented. But only the community looks at the trucks running to Kampala day in, day out, day and night, because they are running to Kampala, offload cement, rush back to Toro, load cement, run it to Kampala. And remember, all those trucks are not for the local people. The senior officers in those factories are not the local community. Where are we headed to? Mr. President, you have an issue in the Bukedi sub-region which you need to address. And I'm happy it is a dialogue that you'll call the local leaders, you call the community that come, let us talk. Come, let us talk where our resources are going. So I'm happy to be part of this initiative. And I pledge my support to the fullest to see that this initiative stands tall and actually controls this nation. I say thank you.
Thank you very much. My ears are itching to hear a lady also. Huh? Hey, Mama Malokulia Memale. Hey. But these are very interesting, tickling ideas that if you come to think about, I don't know if you're asking yourself, how come these things are happening? Or where have you been? Or what, how do we change this narrative?
Where are you from? Maybe you want to talk? It's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, gathered here today, I also want to take this opportunity to also be among the discussants in this event. Indeed, a baby has just been born, and I'm very excited to be part of this. Your Excellency, I first of all want to congratulate you. During that time, it was not easy, but I know, given this other platform you are creating, things will be better this other time around. I'm Kenneth Govi, and I come from Iganga District. Chigulu North is a constituency I want to represent. Yes, I tried it the other time, but you know those thieves. So things didn't go well. They just robbed me of the victory, but I'll be there 2026. I have listened patiently to people speak. I know what some of the things that have been talked about. To me, I want to say this. This is my opinion, my view as a person. I know this day may not be the right day that we have talked what we have already talked. But because of the pain that people have, if somebody is given a chance, he wants to pour out the heart. There is too much pain. There is too much worry. People don't know what is going to happen the next time, the next day. So any opportunity they get, they tend to exhaust. When I said I'm from Busoga, and I know you have been in media, you have been reading all the stories concerning Busoga. When it comes to to children who are underage being pregnanted, Busoga is number one. When you come to health issues like jiggers, Busoga is number one. When you come to issues to do with the producing many children and a family is not able to feed them, Busoga is number one. Now, it means that the population in Busoga is already high. But then the government goes ahead and says, Busoga should be the region where sugarcane should be planted. Now you can imagine, the population is high, there is already, people are striving, people are fighting, land is not enough. But again, they push sugarcane growing to the same region. You are increasing trouble. So I said, some of these things, I think we shall get the appropriate there. We know them because we come from these places. And we shall talk about these things. But today, I just want to thank you, the principal, for creating this forum. I know this is too good. Yes, it is not going to go down well to some people because it is going to be encroaching to what is supposed to be. But to me, this is an eye-opener. It opens up my eyes. If I also can go and tell my people about this, I know most of them, like the youths, they will understand. And we shall be able to move together. I just want to end there and wait for that other opportunity to come. We shall add on more words. Thank you so much.
Which region has it spoken? Bugisu. Where? Okay.
Thank you for this opportunity. By names of Mulunga Chrysostom from Bugisu region. For the time that I've been around on the earth, planet Earth, there are some things that I've looked at that have made a difference. At one point, I used to vote because someone is in the news. Because people have talked about it. Until I got a man who I call deeply inside the president, who is the right man to be the president right now, who happens to be within me, that is the president, Joseph Kabuleta. For the time I've been, there was a time in Bali, people planting coffee. But right now, my father died some time back, but he did not even own a land. He only inherited what the father had. But because the father was into coffee, and at that time, I guess this current guy was not there. He just came. So the coffee was booming at that moment. But because they lost hope to an extent where Bugisu Cooperative went down. At the time, it was Bugisu Cooperative. Our grannies were getting something. Like it would be easy, even for just children within the village, you can go and get a mango from the neighbor's tree. And it would be okay because all that was needed in their home was there. And that could be minor. But now if you go to someone's garden, they might even arrest you. Arrest you as added on, kill you. All that was lost in hope. But having a need within us, a need. There is, I'm a Christian, there was a story in the Bible I read about Job. And at that moment, because the Lord had not showed me the reason as why, I read where he said, I could look at a woman and I did not lust. I was wondering, how can you really look at a beautiful woman and just end there? Until God revealed it to me. When you have a purpose, it is very hard to be diverted. Very hard to be diverted from what you believe in. All these political people, they have been campaigning, and on their ways, trials of doing campaign, they meet people who tell them, tosobola yitamu. Otuukiriza mukolo gwa kutuuka ku ballot paper. But because there is a purpose, something within him that he has to share to the people, he will not take you serious until his goal is achieved. So I thank Joseph Kabuleta, my president, for this opportunity of opening up the need. And the need, it can be still called the purpose. There is need for the need. There is need for the need. Thank you for the opportunity. With you, with this need of ours, I know Bugisu will revive and come back to its top of coffee. Yeah, there is a time of eviction. People in Ubududa, they were taken to church, Liandongo. But you're not taking, you've been owning a land. But then they take you to just a small room. They have not compensated, just taking you. They have taken eviction without plan. And yet these things, for the government, it will not do something because it has seen it today. They might have seen it somewhere earlier than that. They had planned to plan for the people, but they didn't. Thank you for the opportunity. Words never get to cease, and I will have another opportunity to bring it down when I meet the people down there. We don't need money to do some things, but at times when it is within, it is dropped out. We have the mouth, and it is the best weapon that we have. Thank you for the opportunity, because there is a need.
Thank you. I think there is immense need to speak. And now that as long as the need exists, we shall have to talk, and talk, because it is a conversation. We need to end this because I know many of us are traveling even. Before the president comes to wrap up this, I want to say just three things in 3 minutes. Number one, to thank you for coming. You responded to my call. You trusted the calls I made to you, and you are here. Number two, we are now going to, you see, our steering committee must consist of 2 persons from every sub-region. In other words, we who are here make the steering committee. Now, we are requesting you, and the communication that will follow, that when you go back to the sub-regions, we are going to begin sub-regional dialogues across the country. In the next, the period we shall communicate, but in the next maybe one month or less than that, that exercise will be commencing across the country. Now, after running across the country, we shall have to come back to the center. You remember we shall have an organ called the National Assembly. Now, when we are from the field, all the sub-regions are covered. We come back with our issues. We know how we shall articulate them, where we shall place them. Then we call the National Assembly thereafter. So I want to request you people, when you go back, let this be the gospel now. Let this be the orientation. And let this begin the new approach for this country. I will tell you that I have learned here today that every sub-region has an issue. A big issues. I will tell you that if we continue like this, those who hold power, the only message I can give them is you're pretending. You're behaving like an ostrich. You're burying your heads in the sand. Your behind is all bare. The country seems to be, in this approach, with your approach, you're setting this country into a self-destruction mode. The country cannot survive like this. And I want to thank you, members of NEED. And I want to thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for beginning this conversation. Thank you for, this is the only sustainable way this country can survive. I will tell you for free. So let's take the conversation down there. I know we are going to continue sending information on what and how to do this after working out the program properly on how to do the engagements. Because whereas we are one constituency, which is the runners-up into the so-called elections, Shaka Sali loves calling them selections, we know that we have other stakeholders in this. We have religious leaders, we have cultural leaders, we have opinion leaders, we have so many people ignored there. Mr. President, I am sure those people will appreciate, will realize that you brought them back to the conversation. And you see, they will regret why they did not swear you in. And you see, regrets are good when in the near future, you're going to do the right thing. Let me take this opportunity to invite the President to wrap up this. Because, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. We are not going to have any program after lunch. And it's already 5 minutes to 2, and I intended that we don't exceed 2. So I just want to say, I just want to say a few things here. First and foremost, to thank all of you for coming from wherever it is you came from. We really appreciate your presence here, your ideas, your passion. Okay, everybody has discussed with passion. And this is this really, really, you know, all these people here, I had all of you guys here discussing with extreme passion. So, I'm a very passionate person also. Yes? Stand.
I'm from Queen. Yeah. First of all, I was requesting that there is need for us to have some people to work with. You have talked from outside there about committees. And I don't know these committees can run from district to sub-county. There is need for some small clarification on that. So that when we are going, actually we have been mobilizing people and they have been expecting a lot from us. That's one of the agendas. Yeah, I think it's necessary. You can give us a brief. Thank you.
Okay, now I was actually going to address that issue. Now the whole responsibility actually is with you people individually to go and get people of like minds whom you can sit around together and start a conversation. Now we as we as a National Steering Committee, we shall be, for instance, when we are in Central, in this man's place, in Gomba, we'll be coming with people from all over, so that even the people whom you mobilize for us in Gomba can see it is not just you, you have people who are with you from all over. Because people want to be a part of a bigger thing. So that when we go to, let's say, Lango, okay, we have people from Buganda, we have people from Chigezi, and we say we have come to discuss this thing. And our indigenous people in Lango say that, you know, this movement of ours is not just here. We are not just talking here. Number one. Number two, I want, when you go to create those committees and subcommittees, and the mobilization in those places. When we come for our NEED symposiums in your regions, now we are not going to do it secretly the way we did it here. Here, I even informed the media yesterday in the evening because I didn't want any interruption from, you know, people can come with COVID what and so on. But now that we're already out, there is no more hiding, okay? When we go to your places, I want you to call RCC, RDC, DSO, to come and listen to this conversation. All local leaders. You call them, whether they come or not is a different thing, but call them to come to the symposium. Let them also give their contribution. Okay? But especially leaders who are indigenous, because RDCs, you can find an RDC in Kapchorwa is from Bunyoro, but especially those people who are from within, because they're also, touched by these things, even if they might be in the system, but they are there to survive, but they're also touched by these issues that we are talking about. And then also, so you call them, we come, we sit down and have a complete open symposium. How can we get our people out of poverty? Because we are in this thing, and I'm sure you all are, for the love of the country. Okay? That's why we put ourselves at risk. Because if we sit back, as Mr. Babi there said, our children will blame us. That how did you lose all the land? Why did you bring me here when there is no land? Eh? How can you lose all the land? Where did the land go? So you see, we have a responsibility to the next generation to pass something on to them. Some of us, our parents, passed something on to us. So now we also have to fight to make sure we have passed something on to the next generation of people. So we do this for the love of our country and for the love of our people, indigenous in those places where we're coming from. We have to just love, like you want this country to go forward. Okay, you want your region to go forward. You've been in places, we've seen this. We've had, you see, a lot of the people we talk to here were born in this Museveni's regime. So they don't know a lot of the things that we talk about. But those of, us who are who are done, of understanding age in previous regimes, we know that there are certain things which worked. There were certain systems which worked, which no longer work. And it's getting worse and worse. So we have to arrest this situation. And it's not going to come easy. It's not going to come on a plate. But we are not asking you to go and do a demonstration. We're asking you to just go and create a conversation. Okay? Because if you demonstrate, then they can do so many things to you. But if you talk, what can they do to you? Who is responsible for what you say? Who has control over your mouth apart from yourself? So this is the thing. And when we start the conversation and it spreads and people, it catches fire, which is all our responsibility, by the way. Okay? And then when we come, also invite for us the local media, the way I did here. I called all the media. Every television was here. Around 10 televisions were here. Okay? So also, when we come to your place, invite for us the local media. We want to be on every radio station, everything, because we cannot do anything in silence any longer. So we want to be on all the local media. We want them to come and listen to the conversation. We want to realign the media also. You see, the media is a very important aspect of everything that we are doing. Because when the media are bought in, because I'm a media person, when the media are bought in, it becomes easy. I remember when I was in the media, the people who play golf said, you don't cover our sport. Nobody covers golf. So we don't know, nobody, we have tournaments, nobody talks about what we are doing. So what we did, we told the golf people, we cannot cover what we don't know. So they arranged for all media people a day when we go and get golf clubs and also go and play golf. And then they teach us the sport so that you appreciate it. So they're saying you only cover football. But we cover football because we know it. We don't know golf. So now, when they took the media and they went and played golf, then the coverage of golf started doing what? Increasing. Now, when we sell our financial, economic empowerment message to the media and realign their thinking also, when this man is talking, he talks what is coming out of his head. If it's not there, it's not going to come out. So it is our responsibility to make sure we put that in his head. This is what we are talking. This is what we are talking about. And then, because he has an audience, what you told him yesterday, or what he read somewhere yesterday, is what he's going to reproduce. So if it is about economic empowerment, that is going to be the thing. So we also have to befriend media, and I would use the word indoctrinate with the economic empowerment, so that they also see that they are stakeholders in everything that we are doing. And that way we spread our thing. So we'll just give this 1 month here to give you everybody time to go and start something. After that, we shall start coming, visiting every part, all the 17 regions in which we've divided this country. All of them, we shall be getting, not all the steering committee, but a few members. We say now 10 members of the NEED steering committee. Now we are visiting my brother here in Lango. And so we come, you prepare some kind of symposium, call some local leaders, call some media, just invite them. And all interested parties. Then let each one talk about the issues of Lango. And we hear from the indigenous people. Okay? From those people, now tell us what are your problems. Because you see the problem we have, there are politicians who want to presume what people want. First we want to hear what the people are actually saying. So then we listen, then we discuss, then people come up. The way we've done here, give ideas. Now we are talking strictly about Lango. Then we give ideas. And at the end of the ideas, I have my secretary who takes all the notes. Okay? So we compile certain things which we shall use. And we can know that now in Sebei region, these are the issues which people are talking about. In, let's say, Busoga, these are the issues which people are talking about. In Bugisu, this is the main issue. Now I didn't know about the Sebei and the oil, and how they have chased people out of lowlands. Now I've learned this what? Actually, I didn't even learn it from somebody from Sebei. I learned it from somebody, I learned it from him, and it's not even from that region. But you see, in these discussions, we update each other on some of the issues. Now, somebody who is from there says, yes, also me, I was, and the issues. So we really need to take these discussions down to the people, to community leaders. We are doing things openly, okay? Call the RDC. If he comes, let him come. If he doesn't come, let him go and do whatever it is he's doing. Call other people. If they try to block it, it's okay. But we'll have the meetings. But of course, there will be some resistance. I expect that. But we are just talking. So can you stop us from talking? No, you can't. We are not breaking any law. They allowed 200 people. Isn't it? Yes, so as long as we have, maybe by that time they will even have increased. But if they haven't, we'll stick with 200 people. So that we are not breaking any law. We are just talking. Okay? We could as well be there talking about football. About Arsenal or Man U. But now also, yeah, okay. Let me not go there. Oh, sorry? Yes, those regions there. That map there, the way we've done it. So, Kampala Extra includes Mukona and Wachiso. That we the whole, city area and whatever. So that's how we've done it. So, so I'd like to end by just thanking every one of you. I want to thank Mr. Asumani very much because he has been very, very crucial in communicating with you people. And most of you are meeting you for the first time, so it is his. So I really, really am grateful to him. I would like to thank Mr. Opata here. And we've been meeting, preparing this thing, Mr. Odeke here. We wanted to show people that we are serious. So, when you invite media, you don't show them that you aren't serious. So we wanted to show people that we are serious people. So we try to do everything in a very organized fashion. And I'm sure there are very few complaints. Okay, if there are any complaints, forgive us, but we really did our best. we did our best. We try to make sure that it is something organized. So thank you so much for coming. Now everything else is informal. We are meeting each other informally, greeting each other informally, exchanging numbers informally, and everything informal. Now that food is finished, I think, the meeting has been closed. You can leave at will.
If you've finished the main course, like the principal has said, this has been organized in an organized way. There is yet another course called the dessert. So you can go and get a dessert. And when you're done with the dessert, you can even get a toothpick. It is also there. Oh, I have been informed that kindly they will serve you where you are seated. So the dessert will reach you where you are. Thank you.
never manage. No, you know. Even in the constituency here where it's small constituency. Even a small constituency where you come from, you cannot manage.
Eating and eating and eating. So for me, I've been there. In fact, this is going to be my dad.
Again, Yala.
Yes.
Sometimes.
This don't
They denied you give a Chris Opoka.
Opoka almost
now
won him.
Young blood like us are coming now.
No, I contested with Opoka 2 times now. Last time I got only 1 vote.
Hey.